It's a Sunday sweep in the cards for Lynchburg baseball. The York Spartans will have a say. We're back on Fox Field this first day of March. Hello again, baseball lovers. Kyle Haney hanging out with you. Maybe a Snake Farm sweep to start the series, or to start the first home series here at Fox Field for Lynchburg. The Hornets take game one in the walk-off variety. Game two yesterday was a blowout. Lynchburg beats York 16-9. It was 5 multi-run innings in there for Lynchburg, and really the backbreaker for York was giving up 6 in the 6th inning. We'll review the box score and some of the great stat lines. Quinn Madden, a home run, 2 doubles. He drove in 6 total. It was Jack Pokerock with 2 jacks, 2 two-run home runs for JP. And Lynchburg's offense was just humming right along. They got 10 hits, 7 of those extra base hits. Solo shot from Quinn Madden, the 2 from Jack Pokerock, and then Ryder Warren, 1 pitch, 1 swing. He belted one over the right field fence. It was his first at-bat of the year, and what a way to come out with a solo home run. Lynchburg gets the 10 hits, also drew 15 walks as well. York pitchers lost the strike zone at times, but a lot of those walks were Lynchburg fouling off pitches, working 2 strike counts, working long at bats, and really it paid off for them yesterday. Officially for York, it's 1 run on 6 hits, no errors. They left 8 on base. There were no extra base hits for York. Lynchburg pitchers, including the starter Logan Tapman on his birthday, really did a good job of keeping the ball down and limiting that York offense. We'll get the starting lineups here as they're being announced by the public address man, Eli Schilling. For York, it'll be Lucas Prendergast, Joe Urban, Richard Klein, Matthew Wade, Alex Neal, Jacob Daimling, Ethan Hotchkiss is a new name in the lineup, Luke Mosier, and Sam Ross also making his first start offensively. For Lynchburg, it'll be Nick Matfield on the mound. We'll greet the defense when he gets cranked up here in just a moment. So much fun on any home game at Fox, but when you get 3 in a row, good crowd, great weather today, 65 degrees. We've got partly cloudy skies, just a light wind out there. It's going to be a fun day to play. Lynchburg in the Sunday Reds with the white pants, black hat, red brim. York is in the green top again today with gray leggings. And the Spartans officially are 0-3 now on the season. Lynchburg is 6-1. They've won 5 in a row. They've won 25 straight on Fox Field. And we'll see if all of those streaks continue today. We'll meet you at home plate for the first pitch after the national anthem. Lynchburg and York, Game 3 in the series coming your way next on Flo College. National anthem has concluded at Fox Field. A beautiful Sunday afternoon to play. My name is Kyle Haney. We've got a nice full press box again. It's the Daniel E. Wooldridge Class of '56 press box, and we're so glad to have you watching wherever you are this first day of May. Hope February was great for you. For Lynchburg, it was really good. On the baseball side, 6-1. They've won 5 in a row. Lynchburg started 12-1 last year. They had 2 7-game winning streaks last season. Those were the longest streaks last year. You think back to 2024, it was 12 in a row to end the year for Lynchburg. So we'll see how long this streak can continue. These York College Spartans will have a say for sure. Batting average for York is not great right now, 3 games in. 204 is the team average. The team ERA is 10.73. For Lynchburg, on the year so far, they're back to 300 as a team. The pitching is 2.44, the earned run average right now for Lynchburg. And in this series, starters Logan Tapman and Tyler Kaltreiter have been really good. You could argue the bullpen's been even better. 7 innings taken by the bullpen here against York in the first 2 games. They've allowed 1 earned run, just 5 hits, 8 strikeouts, and 0 walks for 5 bullpen pitchers combined for Lynchburg in this series. We'll see how much the bullpen is needed today for Nick Matfield. Nick Matfield is a 6th year. He's 0-1 to start this season. 2.45 is the earned run average. Did not give up any hits in his first start. That was a loss to Rhodes. That's the only game that Lynchburg has lost this year. Nick struck out 4 and walked 4. This is career start number 50 for Nick Matfield. Career start number 50, and he is 3rd in active pitchers in college baseball with 50 starts. Our great friend and former Lynchburg Hornet, Zach Potts, is first all-time with 55 starts. Potts still pitching for William & Mary. Here's the defense for Lynchburg, and we'll get you the batting order in a bit. The battery mate for Nick Matfield will be Gavin Angelilo. First-year man did some catching yesterday. He has 1 start on this season. At first base, it'll be JP, Jack Pokerock again. The Cape Crusaders in the middle, Ben Jones at second, Brandon Garcia at short. They're both seniors. You've got Kyle Moshier, the junior transfer, playing the hot corner. In the outfield, left to right, it's Joe Munitz in left, Quinn Madden in center, Kyle Flora in right. First pitch from Nick Matfield is a ball, and we are underway from a Lakeside Drive in the Hill City of Lynchburg. This one is sprayed by Lucas Prendergast. 2 for 2 day on Friday. He also reached 4 times, but the Hornets pitchers did a great job of neutralizing this talented York leadoff man yesterday. Officially on the year, Prendergast is at 375. He's a career 353 hitter. No balls, 2 strikes. Here's Matfield's 0-2, down and in. Angelilo got a piece. He'll tag, and they will call that a strikeout. Nice job there by Angelilo to cover that one up and apply the tag on Lucas Prendergast, who had given himself up anyway. He's walking back to the dugout, but always nice to slap it on him there. 1 gone with Joe Urban, the third baseman, 1 for 3 yesterday. Joe Urban batted 7th in the first 2 ball games of this series. So some shuffling in the lineup for Coach Mike Scappa, looking for some combinations, and we thought there would be some changes from both teams in this 3-game set. The new names in the batting order today for York are Ethan Hotchkiss playing first base, Sam Ross in center field. Ross will be the 3rd different center fielder that York has used. They have all batted in that 9th spot, so seems like auditions are open for a center fielder right now for York, and I think all 3 guys will make a case going forward to continue to be in the lineup. Slider from Nick Matfield. His pitching profile is crafty right-hander. That crafty term is so often reserved for lefties in the game of baseball, but I think Nick Matfield's a guy who really understands the craft of pitching. He will attack from different arm angles. He will use a variety of pitches, and he'll really use them in any count. That's been one trait throughout his career, the ability to throw off-speed pitches in 2-strike counts, the ability to go off-speed on the first pitch of the at-bat. Nick Matfield understands all the nuances of pitching, and when you're in start number 50, you would kind of expect that. This one's lifted into left field. Joe Munitz sees it moving towards the gap, which is, by the way, about 385 in that left center gap there. We tried to get those official, unofficial dimensions. We mentioned that yesterday in our broadcast. And so we did some fact-finding before the game. 3:15 down both lines here at Fox Field. 4:05 to center. And the right center gap, which we always knew this, the right center gap is a bit deeper than the left center power alley. It's 399 to the fence underneath the scoreboard in right, about 385-ish to that left center gap, the World Series sign out there in left center. Great place to play ball. We've got some green grass on the deck, even though not officially in spring yet, and winter's been kind of rough. Check swing from Richard Klein. Klein's got 2 hits on the season, 350 swinger last year. Richard Klein is DHing again. That's what he did on Friday. He was the catcher yesterday. He and Matthew Wade have flipped-flopped those spots. Great pitch from Nick Matfield. He's got 2 strikes on Richard Klein. Typical Nick Matfield stuff so far. Nothing out of the ordinary here for this talented veteran campaigner, and he went down and in, or down and away rather, with a breaking ball. Angelilo pops out. He'll throw to first. It's a 2-strikeout top of the first inning for Nick Matfield, and he gets through the order one time clean. We'll stay here and greet this Lynchburg batting order and set the York defense for you. For Lynchburg, pretty similar to yesterday with the addition of Angelilo in the lineup. It will be Brandon Garcia leading off and playing shortstop. 6 hits early going here for Brandon Garcia through the first 7 games. He has taken 9 walks. Senior Ben Jones, speaking of walks, he's got 10 free passes on the year to go along with 7 hits. He'll bat second again. It's JP, Jurassic Park, Jack Pokerock. After a 2-home run performance yesterday, he's back hitting third, which he has done in the previous 7 ball games. Quinn Madden with a monster day yesterday, cleaning up. It'll be Joe Munitz, the junior left fielder, batting 5th. Kyle Flora, the first-year right fielder, bats 6th. Connor Moore is DHing again and hitting 7th. And here comes the changes from yesterday. Gavin Angelilo, 1 start. He's 1 for 3 this year and did score a run in that start against Rhodes. He'll bat 8th. And Kyle Moshier, the third baseman, sliding down to the 9 hole. Hornets coached by Travis Beasley in his 3rd season. Bees is 84-27 since taking the reins from Lucas Jones. York, they are 0-3 so far this year, coached by Mike Scappa. 25-plus years on campus between his playing and coaching days. Defensively for the Spartans, Matthew Wade is catching again today. At first base, you've got Ethan Hotchkiss. Second baseman is Lucas Prendergast. He's made several outstanding web gem type of plays so far in this series. The shortstop is Luke Mosier again. At third base, Joe Urban. Left to right in the outfield, Alex Neild in left. You've got Sam Ross, the new man in center. And it's our guy, Jacob Daimling, in right field. Daimling 0 for 9 so far on the year. Selfishly, I want to see him have a good day, and I'll tell the story again. When he was a first year back in 2023, got a home run in his first collegiate at bat down here on Fox Field. That's the great thing about calling these games. We obviously lean towards Lynchburg a bit, and that's more of our focus, but you see some visiting teams, and you have players endear themselves to you, and you really enjoy what you see, and you root for guys. So Jacob Daimling definitely in that category for us. The starter on the mound is Dylan Michalowski. He did pitch against Lynchburg last year. Not a bad outing. 2 innings thrown, did not surrender a hit. He walked a couple batters. Last season in total, he was 2-3 on the mound with a 6.12 earned run average. His first pitch is a ball low and away. Made 8 starts last year, 5 appearances out of the pen for Michalowski. And this is game 4 for York. They've lost 2 to Lynchburg, 4-3 on Friday. Hornets walking off with Sean Pokerock's game ender. Not as close yesterday. And really this is shaping up to be kind of similar to last year's series. Last year, Lynchburg won a ball game 17-1. It was 16-1 yesterday. There was also a 1-run game last year. And then Lynchburg won the final game of the series by 4. So some similarities there, not exactly uncanny similarities just yet. but definitely a series that is going the way that maybe is in a predictable fashion. We always describe York as scrappy and well coached. I think we've seen those things in the first 2 games. And some talent there as well. Again, you got to be careful when you describe a team as scrappy and well coached. Sometimes you're leaving out the fact they've got a lot of talent too. York does have talent, and Lynchburg has loads of talent. Swinging the bats and throwing the baseball and playing defense as well. Brandon Garcia, one of the easier walks for him in his career. It's number 10 on the season for Hollywood, and it should be walk number 134 in his career. Brandon Garcia is aboard with nobody out. Here comes Ben Jones. Garcia yesterday, by the way, walked twice. Did have 1 hit yesterday for Brandon Garcia, so he was aboard 3 times. Ben Jones thought about it on an outside fastball that comes across for strike 1 from Michalowski. The junior from Abingdon, Maryland, is in the stretch for the first time. Double play depth for the York defense. Ben Jones' day yesterday featured 3 free passes, 1 2 RBI double. That was a ball that he pumped out there to that deep right center gap. 1 hop the fence. And Ben Jones can really work those power alleys, both power alleys. Ben Jones has got power to that left center gap as well. But certainly I think he wants to hit more balls in the right center gap. Doesn't want to get too extreme and start yanking balls down the right field line. That's something you hear hitters talk about. Staying gap to gap with the approach. Ben Jones really is a guy that embodies that. Not that he'll never hit a ball down the line, but he really does work those power alleys. This one low and away. Good slide by the catcher, Matthew Wade, to make sure that didn't go anywhere. Brandon Garcia, a candidate to run, but also advance on those DBRs, the dirt ball reads. Jack Pokerock is on deck. Still nobody out. We're in the bottom half of the first inning here, just getting underway at Fox Field. Lynchburg on the road. Greensboro Tuesday, Maryville Wednesday, and then back at home 1 week from yesterday to open up conference play against the Washington and Lee Generals. Here's Ben Jones hitting one down the left field line. We said he was working gap to gap. This ball is just foul. Foul by about 2 or 3 feet. Our home plate umpire actually went out kind of towards the line. Usually the home plate guy might stay right on the line so he can get the best view, but the call was 100% correct. That was a foul ball, and Ben Jones will have to walk back in the box and try it again. One more road game for York. It's basically a 5-game road trip to open up the season, and then they'll make their home debut this Thursday. 2-strike delivery from Michalowski. Here it comes. Ben Jones will hit it down the other line. There's one out there. They'll throw to second. They have to tag. They do not get Brandon Garcia in time, sliding in safely head first. There's your first out in the bottom of the first inning. So just as we said, Ben Jones was working the middle. He hit one down each line, 1 foul, 1 fair. With 2 strikes, though, you can kind of throw out some of those approach things. You're just trying to stay alive and get a bat on the ball, although there's different schools of thought there, of course. Here's Jack Pokerock. Our first post-game interview yesterday. We started a new segment on LHN and Flow College. We had an on-broadcast post-game interview. Our great friend, the director of baseball operations / director of analytics / director of Brady Moore, Mr. Brady Moore himself. He ran down there and grabbed Jack Pokerock for us. A good interview there. And we'll try it again today, see what happens. Our umpire warning Michalowski that eye contact is needed with the batter. And then you get one warning. I feel like we've seen about one of those each game so far at Fox Field this year. Have not seen any pitch timer violations yet. Fans, if you do not know, we do have a pitch clock in Division III baseball, but unlike the pros and D1 baseball, it's not visible. So that can be confusing sometimes for fans watching the games, and sometimes you'll see an umpire randomly put the hands up and call a guy for a violation and give him the ball. And then you see another gesture from your umpire right there about noting the one disengagement from Michalowski. So he could step off one time without throwing for free. You can throw as many times as you want now. That's not like Major League Baseball where they've got limits on pickoff attempts. College, you can still pick as many times as you want, but you can only step off without picking off one time. So now you're up to speed on the rules, at least as they stand now. When they change them again, we'll have to learn them all again ourselves. Michalowski looking at Garcia. Second baseman Prendergast actually broke to second, maybe wanting a throw there, and Jack Pokerock will foul it away. 0-0 ball game. It's a 1-ball, 2-strike count with 1 out in the bottom of the first inning. Quinn Madden on deck. Monster day yesterday for Dr. Q. Is the 1-2 to Pokerock, up and away for ball 2. Between, you combine Jack Pokerock and Quinn Madden, and you get 3 home runs, 2 doubles, and it looks like 11 of the 16 RBI. Swing and a miss from JP there. Michalowski went upstairs and got him. 2 gone now in the bottom of the first inning. Yeah, it's 10, actually. I believe it was 10 of the 16 RBI yesterday between Madden and Jack Pokerock. And that's in a high-scoring game. You'd like to think your 3 and 4 hole hitters are going to do a lot of the destruction and the dismemberment, and that happened yesterday. They'll throw on Brandon Garcia. He's back in time. It doesn't always shape up that way for a baseball offense. You'll take the runs any way you can get them. As Quinn Madden comes into this ball game hitting .290 on the year. Check out the extra base numbers here for Madden. 2 doubles, 1 triple, 3 home runs so far this season. He's hit cleanup in all 8 ball games now. Here comes the 0-1, swing and a miss. Madden comes up empty on a healthy cut there. And now it's no balls and 2 strikes with 2 gone. Bottom 1. I think you can expect Quinn Madden to bat in this 4 slot all season. Maybe a rest day somewhere in there. We'll see. High from Michalowski. Could be a potential setup pitch for this tall right-handed junior from Abingdon, Maryland. He'll check the communication device on the left wrist and stand in. Garcia, good wheels. He'll be a candidate to score on a base hit. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back punch-outs to leave Garcia stranded, and it's a pretty good start for York here. We're through 1 complete stalemate so far on a Sunday at Fox Field. Getting ready for the start of the second inning between York and Lynchburg. Spartans looking for their first win of the season. Lynchburg looking to keep a win streak going 5 in a row right now for the Hornets. 6-1 total. The batter, Matthew Wade. He hit the home run off starter Tyler Kaltreiter on Friday. Just a fantastic swing, a ball that went to deep left field. That was one of 2 home runs Friday for York. The other was Alex Neild. Neild is on deck, by the way. There's some power in this Spartan batting unit. 36 home runs last year. Reason to think they might exceed that this season. Down and in. Great pitch from Nick Matfield. Almost maybe taking advantage of what we just talked about. Wade's a guy that probably likes the ball in, so you start that sinking two-seamer on the inner third and let it become a ball, and Wade can't hit it. But that's back to the craft of Nick Matfield. He understands chase pitches. He understands starting a pitch on the edge and letting it become a ball. He understands starting a pitch as a ball and letting it break in for a strike. 0-2 pretty quickly on Wade. Matfield went downstairs, and it is ball one. Matfield, for most of his career, has been the second guy, as in he'll pitch the second game of the doubleheader or the second game in a series. Now, don't mistake that, as the 1-2 is swung on, and it's a swing and a miss. Matfield's got 3 punches already, and that falls in line with the comment I was going to make. Don't mistake the fact that he's going second, that he's not an ace. I mean, Matfield has been a bona fide ace his entire career. Career win-loss record is 27-6. All starts. He's actually never made a bullpen appearance for Lynchburg. Career earned run average is 3.52. I mean, that's just absolutely phenomenal. 223 strikeouts now to just 80 walks. Matfield has just been so consistent. ODAC Rookie of the Year in 2022. 2023, he was very much a part of that national championship team, but stopped pitching after this York series. The start against York in 23 was actually his last appearance of the year because of some injuries, but certainly was still very much a leader for those pitchers specifically and the team in general. He's kind of as this ball's lifted by Alex Neal. Nealed 3 home runs on the year, including the long ball Friday that put York up briefly. 1-2 count. But Matfield's leadership, I mean, he's not a big yeller. He's not a rah-rah guy, but very much a leader, as I said, specifically with the pitchers, but the team in general. 1-2 here as Matfield peers over the front shoulder. Went with the two-seamer. Neal got a good piece of it. Kyle Flora on the run in right field will track it down. Not a heavy wind day. That ball carried a little bit more, I think, than perhaps Kyle Flora originally thought it would, but he made an adjustment just fine, and now there's 2 down in the top of the second. Jacob Daimling, again, I always mention the home run. I'm going to mention it again today because he's a senior. We won't be able to mention it anymore. So why not give him some more props? And remember, he went 2 for 2 with a couple doubles in that next game. He started off his college career in incredibly good style down here on Fox Field. Matfield missed the zone with a thigh-high fastball. It's 1 ball, no strikes. Lynchburg defense playing Daimling to pull in the outfield and in the infield. You look at Kyle Moshier, the third baseman. He is way off the line. It's almost a shift configuration where they could be baiting Daimling into trying a base hit bunt potentially. Daimling's got the entire third base line. Instead, it's shot to the shortstop, Brandon Garcia. Backhand throw on target, and it's a fast one. Side retired in order for Nick Matfield. 0-0 ball game. We'll go to the bottom of the second. Joe Munitz, Kyle Flora, Connor Moore due up for Lynchburg, as we'll stay here with our producer at the controls today, Joey B. Joe Brennan, fresh off an appearance at the ODAC track and field finals yesterday. Big day for the Lynchburg track team. Big day for the Lynchburg lacrosse team yesterday. A win on the road at Salisbury. And we had a big day at the ballpark. It's always so much fun watching baseball. You really can't take them for granted. I mean, the season does seem long. This is game 8 of 39 for Lynchburg. And then, of course, an expected postseason run. You can't take that for granted either. But it seems like a long year, but they really fly by. Got to make the most of them. How can you not be romantic about the game of baseball, especially when it's not freezing cold, when you get a decent day at the ballpark in early March to enjoy? Got to take advantage of those good vibrations. And I think the Lynchburg baseball team operating with good vibrations again, and Really, they're trying to operate on a higher frequency this year. The attention to detail, yes, got to still have fun, no doubt. But the goals are lofty for Lynchburg, and they've got the personnel and the personalities to execute those goals. Joe Munitz will lead off. He's 8 for 22 so far this year, hitting .364. Kyle Flora leading the team in average so far as a first year. His talent is undeniable, and he's got a great temperament too, especially for a first year. Sometimes there's an adjustment period there, but he kind of exhibits those professional traits already. It's just an 18, 19-year-old. So fun to watch Kyle Flora do his work. And Connor Moore, the junior, due up third. They're facing Dylan Michalowski. Michalowski, one walk to Brandon Garcia. Garcia stranded in scoring position to begin the ball game. Joe Munitz, no hits yesterday. He was on 3 times with 3 walks. I believe that'll stall out Joe Munitz's hitting streak, but I'm just gonna do a little streak watch right now because Kyle Flora has a base hit in every single game this year, so he's on a streak. And the superstitious people are mad at me for even talking about these things as Joe Munitz watches a fastball come in just above the knee. The reached base streak this year, Joe Munitz has indeed been on at least once in every ball game. So he's got a reached base streak of 7 straight. So does Brandon Garcia. So does Kyle Flora. So does Ben Jones. So Hollywood, Brandon Garcia, we can check his box. He's been on in every ball game this season now, all 8. Lynchburg, again, as a reminder, is 6-1 so far this year. 2 balls, 1 strike. This one slashed foul by Joe Munitz. Connor Moore also holds a 3-game hitting streak. Those are just the only 2 that are above 1 game right now for Lynchburg, believe it or not. Not necessarily a bad thing there because that means your entire offense is producing. You're not relying on just one guy. Joe Munitz will pound this one the other direction. Good snag by somebody in the York dugout. Good hands there. And you do have to be on your toes and keeping your wits about you here at Fox Field. The dugouts are both pretty close. First baseline dugout is closer than third baseline. 2-2 to Joe Munitz. Ooh, Michalowski got that one off his glove. Prendergast throwing on the run. Another good play from Lucas Prendergast. Boy, he's impressed. If we had an all-series defensive team, he would be there. Although Ben Jones, second baseman for Lynchburg, made some good plays as well. Another one that probably goes down as a 1-4-3. Yes, the official score is confirming that. That is officially a 1-4-3. That helps Michalowski's fielding percentage in the long haul. He gets an additional assist there. Here's Kyle Flora with the hitting streak and all the other fun things. Breaking ball, good start from Michalowski. Sometimes first years and first-year starters do have the advantage of no scouting report. It can play into that. You can occasionally get some more center-cut fastballs, and maybe you get just kind of an average breaking ball early in the count because the other team has no book on you. That'll change as the year goes on, if it hasn't already. I mean, college baseball teams are pretty sophisticated, pretty buttoned up when it comes to the scouting now. And you do have quite a few coaches that, say, well, we got to worry about ourselves. We're not worried about the scouting too much. But word gets around. You look at stats. You see that they got a first year leading the team in average, so you start doing some hunting and some fact-finding. Plus, it's Game 3 of the series, so you'll have that in there as well. Here comes Flora, going to bust one to right center field. Should be catchable for Sam Ross out there, and it is. 2 down. Notes and nuggets on Kyle Flora will have to wait until next at bat, and also a potential extension to his hitting streak. We'll talk about Connor Moore. Connor Moore comes in with a 3-game hitting streak. 1 hit in each ball game. 250 is the average. 459 last year for Seymour. Number 44, Vienna, Virginia guy, wants to be a coach or run a baseball facility when he gets older. He's definitely got that coach's brain. I think Moore's got a good mix of the numbers side, the analytics side, and then the feel things as well. Gavin Angelillo on deck for Lynchburg. In this lineup, it is 2 first years starting, Flora and Angelillo. You've got juniors, Connor Moore, Kyle Moshier, and Joe Munitz, 3 of them. Moore stings this one, but a catch in right field by Jacob Daimling. And there we go. 2 pretty quick innings for both ball clubs. We'll pause. Still a stalemate on the first Sunday of March. Top of the third at Fox Field, we get a nice look at Lynchburg's first-year catcher, Gavin Angelillo. Two-way guy. He is a pitcher. And we talked about Nick Matfield taking the ball in Game 2, whether it's a series or a doubleheader. That means so often in his career he's worked with the second catcher. At times it was Riley O'Donovan was the main catcher for Nick Matfield. Now it's Gavin Angelillo. And I think it's a unique thing. Last season, Connor Moore became that second catcher a lot for Nick Matfield. You've seen that throughout baseball where occasionally a guy, Greg Maddox is one notable one, that has had his own individual catcher. And because of the demands, the physical demands of catching, we talked about this yesterday actually, it's hard to go a college baseball season with just one catcher anyway. So if you have the routine of your second catcher catching the second pitcher or the second game of that doubleheader, you really can develop some consistencies there. It's going to be another strikeout for Matfield. Angelillo took a while to find it, but Ethan Hotchkiss actually took a while to run as well. Hotchkiss, I believe, was kind of mystified himself and did not take off running until the dugout encouraged him to do so. For Matfield, that's K number 4, by the way. Third time Angelillo's had to either tag or throw to first. Here's Luke Mosier, the shortstop, with one gone in the top of the third. But that relationship between pitcher and catcher is important here. As the no-hitter's gone, this ball is a line drive over Ben Jones' head. Good swing on the first pitch of the at-bat by Luke Mosier. That's what people talk about when they mention ambushing a fastball. Mosier's got a hit in every game this series now. 4 total, 2 yesterday, 1 on Friday. We'll try to wrap up the thought about the pitcher-catcher relationship. I mean, there's something to be said for just being able to throw to anybody and just throw to a target back there. Maybe you don't need a relationship, but I think there's also a lot to be said for having that personal working relationship, having a guy that you trust, having a guy that knows your stuff, has seen it for a while, knows what it's going to do, knows how you like to attack hitters. And then the other thing about the personal catcher was always, back to the Greg Maddox comparison, he could just sit around and talk to his personal catcher the other 4 or 5 days of the week when the main catcher was out there catching the ball game. They could talk baseball. They could talk about those battle plans. So you develop that as well. Bunt attempt by Ross is a foul ball. No at-bats just yet. Did play junior college ball at Anne Arundel Community College in Maryland. 0-2 count for Sam Ross. So a unique, maybe not a super unique thing, actually, to work with that second catcher and maybe not quite have a personal catcher, but have a guy that you work with and catches you more often. A lot to be said for that. Sometimes you got to go with offense. Sometimes you got to go away from that and just get your best hitting catcher in there. Now, I will tell you, Gavin Angelillo is a pretty darn good hitter as well, and we'll talk about that when he leads off the bottom of the third. Back to this matchup as this one is sprayed towards the on-deck area. Lucas Prendergast, the second baseman, with a little evasive action to make sure he didn't get hit. No balls, 2 strikes. Runner at first, Luke Mosier, is the first base runner Nick Matfield has allowed. Actually, the first hit he's allowed all year. He got a loss against Rhodes, but didn't allow any hits. Longer hold that time from Matfield. The spinner misses. It's 1-2. In addition to Matfield's great pitches, he understands the element of holding runners, keeping guys close, giving his catcher a chance. Understands the holds, the pickoff moves, knows who's a threat to run and who isn't. Very cerebral about the game and his own personal game. He is a Suffolk, Virginia guy just like his catcher, Gavin Angelillo. They didn't go to the same high school. Swing and a miss. Another punch out for Nick Matfield. That's 5 now for Matfield. One time through the order. Nicky is cooking a little bit out there in the Sunday Reds. We've got 2 outs now in the top of the third inning. Back to the top of the order, Lucas Prendergast. 375 coming into the ball game. No hits yesterday. And I mentioned I thought Lynchburg did a fantastic job really neutralizing him because he was so good on Friday with 2 hits and reaching 4 times. Yesterday, the top 3 in the batting order for York, that was Prendergast, Cassidy, and Klein yesterday. They were a combined 0 for 12. That'll win you some ball games. And you can shut down the other team's top 3. There's Jack Pokerock with a snare, and he will calmly and casually step on first base for the final out of the inning. Not bad wood there by Prendergast, but Jack Pokerock made a good play. We'll stay here in between innings again and tell you it's a 0-0 ball game. Lynchburg's got 8-9-1 due up in their half of the third. Angelillo, Moshier, and Garcia. Lynchburg as a team this year is back up to 300 in the batting average department. It was below that yesterday, but they bang out 10 hits yesterday. And remember, 7 of those were extra base hits. That is something for Lynchburg that has grown in years past. Part of that is roster construction. Part of that is some of the guys getting older and stronger and maybe looking for more doubles, triples, and homers. Remember, you go back to 2023, Lynchburg was very, very singles heavy. The line from Lucas Jones that year, the head coach, was death by 1,000 cuts. He said, we're just going to single you to death. And there's some humor in there as well because Lynchburg obviously hit their share of home runs in the national championship campaign. But power numbers have been better here for Lynchburg. Last season, Hornets had 36 games with multiple extra base hits. They only had 3 games without an extra base hit last year. Last year's offense had a batting average of 316. It was 311 last year. 311, so a little bit higher than right now. We're still obviously in the early portion of the season. Lynchburg, from a run-scoring perspective, was never shut out last year. Lowest run output was 1 against Hampton-Sydney in a loss. Here's Gavin Angelillo. His offensive profile features some power. He hit some home runs in the fall portion. This year in the spring season, he's 1 for 3 with 1 run scored in that loss against Rhodes. Slightly open stance, back of the batter's box. Hands somewhat higher maybe than average, and he really uses that strong frame. When you think about a prototypical catcher's body, I think he fits that mold. He is a pitcher as well. Good stuff on the mound. Might see that this year. An 0-2 delivery coming from Dylan Michalowski. Looked to be an over-the-top 12-6 curveball that missed. But Angelilo's a guy, I think he's figuring out the college game pretty quickly. Not that there isn't a learning curve. Inside target. Let's see if Michalowski can get it there. Oh, he did. It's too far inside. Looked like it hit the left wrist or forearm of Angelilo. Some frustration there as he derobes. Had a little yard sale there on the dirt. Coach Mike Scappa is not thrilled with the call, I think. I think he's going to – the ball caromed in the direction of York's dugout, so I think he took the opportunity to pick up the ball and then share a word with the home plate umpire. I'd say that's slightly savvy coaching right there. You make it look like to the fans and initially to the umpire, hey, I'm just picking up this ball to give it back to you, but also I'm going to give you a piece of my mind as I hand you the sphere back. So that was good from Mike Scappa. I don't know if maybe he thought Angelilo leaned in. We certainly didn't see that. Kyle Moshier now 3 for 21 this season. Slightly cold start for Mosh after being a .390 hitter at Roanoke. You know he's capable. Obviously, the Maroons in the Old Dominion Athletic Conference. Moshier will foul this one away. It's an 0-2 start. And I broke my rule about using that obviously word again because maybe some of our fans watching don't know that Roanoke is in the ODAC, but they are. So Moshier has done it against similar competition at that level. And he can do it here at Lynchburg. 0-2 right now against Michalowski. Breaking ball close from Dylan Michalowski. Mosh holds. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Brandon Garcia waits on deck. Double play depth for York. Third baseman Joe Urban is back behind the bag. Outfield is pretty much straight up. Center fielder Sam Ross might be shaded slightly in the right center gap. Mosh 1 for his last 14. So he's looking to kickstart something. Breaking ball down. Angelilo running on the low pitch. Great base running there, and you hear the Lynchburg dugout really coming alive there for one of those dirt ball reads. That's how it's supposed to work. Lynchburg practices that. So many teams do. It's a way to get a base without stealing, without risking the steal. And there is still some risk in that dirt ball read. It's not 100%, but you kind of do the arithmetic and the calculus as a coach and say, hey, if we can be 85 or 90% on those, it's worth it. This one floated to the second baseman. Angelilo read it well and got back to second before he could get doubled off. Moshier frustrated. His struggles continue, and there's 1 out now in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Brandon Garcia, 0 for 0 with that walk. Before Angelilo, he was the only Hornet to reach. And he's been on in every ball game this year. Brandon Garcia, a reminder, if you didn't hear us talking about these wonderful stats on Friday, he is the active Division III leader in runs scored. Nobody in Division III baseball has touched the plate more than Brandon Garcia. And he scored a couple runs already in this series. Typical leadoff hitter stuff. He is a true table setter in every sense of the word. He's a patient hitter, but he's also a great hitter. The career average is over 300. 311 for Brandon Garcia. Got some pop in that bat. 2 career home runs. 1 at Fox. I believe the other was in a road game against Hampton-Sydney back in 2024. Also a base stealing threat. He'll get close to 100 by the time his career's over. This one's hit hard at the second baseman, Prendergast. He fields and throws. Angelilo will move up 90 feet. Brandon Garcia out on the 4-3. Now it's Ben Jones with 2 gone in the bottom of the 3rd. A chance to potentially drive in the first run of the ball game and give Lynchburg an early lead. 18 multi-run innings so far this year for Lynchburg. When they have scored in bunches. There were 5 of those yesterday. There was 1, solo run scored in an inning, 1 single run inning. But Lynchburg with the crooked numbers, offensively, they have used that to their advantage. They'd take one here. Ben Jones would certainly love to get another RBI and get the run-scoring party started on a Sunday where Lynchburg looking towards the broom closet for a potential early season sweep. Would be their first sweep, but that's misleading because York's the only team they've played more than once, so not really even a chance for a sweep just yet. The count is 1-1 Dylan Michalowski, the junior, holds and fires up and away for ball 2. We've seen outfielders play Ben Jones deeper in respect and regards to his power. York's pretty much normal depth from what we see as far as how deep outfielders play at Fox. Wind is starting to blow out to right field now as well. Check swing from Ben Jones. They will appeal down to third, but the umpire there says he did not go around. 3 umpires in this series. I think we'll go back to 2 for our ODAC. Brady Moore saying 3. And Brady Moore would know. He's the general manager / director of ops / director of analytics. We'll hold there because we'll miss too much baseball given all of Brady's titles. Down low for ball 4. Another Benny Bombs walk. Benny bases, speaking of career leadership. Nobody actively in college baseball has more walks than Ben Jones. That includes all divisions. He is by far and away the D3 leader, and he also has more walks than anybody in Division I baseball, or anybody that's played across multiple divisions, because there are a lot of those as well. First pitch coming to Jack Polkarock. He'll yank it down the line. Joe Urban, backhand stab. Throw is high, and it's over the first baseman's head. 1 run is in. Polkarock will retreat back to first base. Benny Jones will go first to third. Lynchburg is on the board with what's going to go down as an E5. Error on the third baseman, Joe Urban. Collected the backhand nicely, but it was a long throw, a full 120 feet probably to first base. He sailed it high. The first baseman, Ethan Hotchkiss, could not pull it down. Angelilo will score his second run of the ball game. Lynchburg leads 1-0. This is going to fall under typical Lynchburg inning right now. 1 run on 0 hits. A hit batter, a walk, and an error. They are resourceful on offense. That's the word that I have used for many years now. Quinn Madden with a chance to bust it wide open. And this is what happens in those multi-run innings to opponents. You give up 1 run, you're against the wall a little bit, runners are still on, then a guy like Quinn Madden does drop in a base hit and maybe an extra base hit. Madden has fouled this one away, though. There's 2 outs, bottom of the 3rd inning. If you're York, the goal is obviously to get out just surrendering the 1 run. You can keep some confidence there. Certainly the pitcher, Dylan Michalowski, would feel some confidence. Madden up the middle, shortstop bobbled. Mosier will recapture in time and underhand it to second base. That is your inning. It's 1 run on no hits. 2 runners left on for Lynchburg. And through the first 3 rounds, just a jab from Lynchburg, but they lead 1-0 on the judges' scorecard. We sometimes like to talk about changes from one season to another. And in 2026, we've got the safety base at Fox Field. And you see that base to the right of first base. That's the safety base, the extra base there. I'm told officially it can actually be any color but white. I have seen a few green ones in college baseball, which I kind of don't like as this ball is lifted by Joe Urban. I'll tell you, I don't like the green one because obviously grass is green, turf fields are green, so that's why I don't like green, but I like red. Red stands out. Maybe bright yellow would be good. That's kind of the caution color, when you wear the yellow vest. But that safety base, you can run through that. You have to run through that as the runner, and it is only live for you to use on the initial run-through. When you come back after the run-through, you have to step on the main first base. That has been screwed up, and you'll see on social media sometimes where a batter, this happens in softball because that safety base has been around in softball a lot more, where the batter will come back and put their foot on the safety base and get tagged out. So the only time you can use it is on the run-through. After that, it's like it doesn't exist. And the other little quirk there, the other little nuance is Richard Klein's got a 1-1 count. He's 0 for 1 with a strikeout. The other nuance to the safety base is when there is a drop third strike and the ball is in foul territory and the catcher is picking it up and throwing, the first baseman can actually use the safety base as a live base to tag, and the runner then has to run through the normal base. Hope that makes sense, and that's obviously a pretty rare one. But the first baseman is supposed to declare which base he's using. So the first baseman, if he wants to slide to the outside part or foul territory, he's got to then stand on that safety base, and the runner is expected to be able to see that and then make his or her adjustment. 2-2 to Richard Klein, ball 3. Matthew Wade on deck. Both these guys were strikeout victims. Nick Matfield has been cruising along. He's K'd 5. One base runner. That was Luke Mosier's sharp single over the second baseman, Ben Jones. Here comes the payoff. Matfield missed, and that's ball 4. Really one of the few 3-ball counts that Nick Matfield has gotten to. Nick walked 4 and struck out 4 in his first appearance. Really just lost the zone for 1 inning against Rhodes. That game was at Piedmont, that early season tournament. For Dylan Michalowski, he has only walked 1. He has hit a batter. That was Gavin Angelilo, who came around to score last inning. Lynchburg leads 1-0. So maybe we'll hit the safety base again at some point this season. You're going to see them more and more, and to me it's a good change. I know some of the old school fans will say, you don't need that, but I think it's just smart. It's not a lot of extra effort. You just buy the safety base, and there is a little platform that attaches to the normal base, the normal first base underneath, and you put it down there and you play. And umpires obviously understand the little rules quirks that I gave you. I mean, I explained it to you in 20 seconds, fans, so it's not a big change. And if it makes the game safer, then why not make the change? It's similar to the way when we brought in batting helmets in the 60s and the 70s. I'm sure some of the old-timers were like, that's stupid. But, make the game safer, and it hasn't stopped anybody from being able to hit. So some changes are good. Not all change is bad. It's 2-1 now on Matthew Wade, who's hitting 400 coming into the ball game. That'll dip just slightly. He's 0 for 1 with a strikeout today. Alex Neild is on deck. Double play depth for Lynchburg. Third baseman Kyle Moshier is back. Here's a chopper. Hornets are only going to be able to get 1 on this. Garcia handled a tough hop there and then threw a bullet across the diamond for the second out of the inning. Klein moves to second. Good play there from Brandon Garcia. He's so good defensively at hunting hops. I heard the Orioles shortstop, Gunnar Henderson, talking about this yesterday in one of those spring training interviews about hunting the hop and trying to read the ground balls and the choppers as a prey that he's on the hunt after. That one a little bit different for Brandon Garcia because of how Wade was getting down the line. He didn't really have a choice on the hop there. But Garcia's really good about picking his hop he attacks the ball under control so he can still adjust. And he did that there on that chopper, that last hop, kind of got him right around the lettering, the Lynchburg lettering on the red jersey, but handled that well and made a strong throw. Throws so good on the run, too, and you can work different hops when you're confident in your ability to throw on the run. An interesting play there. It was just a high pitch that Angelilo really didn't even get leather on it. Went straight to the backstop. Rebound brought it right to him. He turned and fired to third, expecting the runner, Richard Klein, to be on the move. But Klein stayed put, and it's probably a good thing he did. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. Top 4. York playing from behind, 1-0. Spartans played from in front most of Friday. Lynchburg on Friday had just 1 hit through the first 6 innings, and they were held to 2 hits through the first 8 complete. Lynchburg put up 3 singles in the 9th inning on Friday, and the total attack was 5 hits in that ball game. They did work their usual walks here as Matt Field will throw to Ben Jones. And Klein is back safely at second. Tip your cap to the York pitching staff Friday. Spartans' arms got a little blown up yesterday. York ended up using 5 pitchers in yesterday's 16-1 Lynchburg win. Hornets only used 3. Logan Tapman, a really strong start. And it was Davis Watson. Michael Rollins came in to finish things out for the Hornets. So bullpen very intact. They'll have options today. They'll have options Tuesday and Wednesday in those ball games. Wide one from Nick Matfield. Did not get the release there on a 3-1 curve ball. We've talked about how Matfield will throw those off-speed pitches in any count. That one, not what he wanted. First hit batter of the ball game for Nick Matfield. 2 on now for the first time for York. Dimling grounded out to the third baseman his first time up. Ethan Hotchkiss is on deck. Lynchburg will have 5, 6, 7 due up in their half of the 4th. Matfield pitching under some pressure. Dimling's going to pump this into left field. Let's see if it's a green light. Oh, it will be now. Joe Munitz had that ball get under his glove. York is actually going to score 2. Base hit for Jacob Dimling. Will drive in 1. Probably may not get credit for the second RBI. That's going to be an outfield error as Joe Munitz was hustling to that ball, and it just snuck under the glove out there in left field. It's probably just a single for Dimling as well, but it's a lead now for York. Any way you score it, Spartans on top, 2-1. I thought Matfield made a pretty good pitch. It was a nice piece of hitting from Dimling to go with it and drive that ball into left field. It'll be a mound visit for Mike Solbach. I will call this pretty well placed. This is the 6th batter of the inning that Matfield will face. And this has been sort of one of our minor themes, one of our side plots over this series is walks coming back to haunt you, and that's happened already in this ball game. Think about the hit batters coming back to haunt each team as well. Angelilo got hit and then scored for Lynchburg in the 3rd, and here in the 4th, it was Richard Klein taking a walk. Alex Neal got hit by a pitch, and they have both scored. RBI single from Jacob Dimling scores 2 thanks to help from an outfield error. Lynchburg did not have many outfield errors last year. Check swing from number 33, Ethan Hotchkiss. Looks like he held up, and it's 1 ball, no strikes. We do have 2 away in the top of the 4th. And when you're talking about outfield errors, I mean, that's usually how you're going to get one. You can have throwing errors, obviously. Oops, used my word again that I was going to banish. That was my New Year's resolution, my New Year's delusion. Baseball fans still holding on to any New Year's resolutions, hopefully, here in March. I had the resolution that I was going to procrastinate less in 2026. Can't wait to get started on that in April. I think that's going to be a good one for me this year. It was like a joke within the joke there, as Nick Matfield Missed the zone thrice. Ethan Hotchkiss has got a 3-0 count. 2 away. Luke Mosier on deck. He singled 1 for 1. He's got a hit in every game of the series. Matt Field right down Broadway with a hard fastball there to get back in the at-bat. 3 balls, 1 strike to Ethan Hotchkiss. First-year man from Waynesboro, Pennsylvania. Congratulations to Ethan Hotchkiss. It's a career debut here today on the road at Fox. And it's a career first hit. Maybe Joe Munitz on the run to take it out of the sky. A good little makeup play there for Joe Munitz. He will deny Ethan Hotchkiss his first career single. It was on the nose there for Hotchkiss, but Munitz with a good play to end the half inning. York on top 2-1 after 3.5 on Flo College. New pitcher for York will be number 32. This is Brian McDermott, a 6-foot, 180-pound sophomore from Clarksburg, Maryland. He is on in the bottom of the 4th inning. I like the move here from Coach Mike Scappa. Dylan Michalowski was good, but you don't want guys to get overexposed. There's pitch count in there as well, part of the computations for the coaching staff. And we have been complimentary of how York has used their arms. Connor Reeser was the starter on Friday, who really did so well. Very, very impressed with Connor Reeser. And then Sam Ross, who's playing center field today, came in for some good work there in that ball game. But the ball now is Brian McDermott's, and he will face Joe Munitz, Kyle Flora, and Connor Moore. 2-1, the York lead. Statistically, through 4, York has 2 runs on 2 hits. They've committed 1 error and left 2 runners on base, 1 in scoring position. For Lynchburg, still hitless. 1 run, no hits. Hornets have stranded 3, and Lynchburg has committed 1 error of their own. So it's unfolding maybe in a similar fashion to Friday's ball game. Lynchburg was hitless through 3 there. 1 hit through 6 innings, and 2 hits through the first 8 innings for Lynchburg. If you've been watching all 3 games, sometimes that info gets old, but it's nice to have the context for what has happened so far in this series. What has happened in Brian McDermott's career. He made 5 appearances as a Frosh last year. He did appear once this season against Catholic, worked 2 innings, 4 earned runs there, gave up 4 hits, struck out 1, and walked 1. He did not factor in the decision there, but that's an appearance that he'll be ready to erase. The ERA last year was 18 in 5 innings of work, gave up 10 earned runs. It's a small sample size for this southpaw from Clarksburg, Maryland. 1-1 count here to Joe Munitz, who made a good defensive play there on the line drive to somewhat atone for the mistake, and he'll be ready to make up for it even more. Joe Munitz 364 so far in the 2026 campaign. Munitz is under this 1-2 offering, medium center field. Shouldn't be a problem for Sam Ross. It's not, and there's one in the books in the bottom of the 4th. Here comes Flo. Flo on Flo. It's Kyle Flora. 12 for 27 this year. 5 extra base hits for this young guy who has got some juice in that bat. He's got some speed. He's riding a 7-game hitting streak. At least 1 base hit in every contest so far this year. See if he can extend that right now. This one is well wide from Brian McDermott. And now it's 1 ball, no strikes. Connor Moore on deck. Moore hit a hard line drive that turned into an F9 his first time up. More cloud coverage now. He started out very sunny, still A good day to watch a ball game. The wind has picked up here as we have gone on at Fox Field. Another good crowd at the ballpark. I think we can safely say yesterday's game had the highest attendance, and that makes a lot of sense. First game Friday, you get some folks with work or other commitments can't be here. Today, you might be some people want to get away, get back home early. But York always travels well. We make a note of that every time we play this series. And the Spartan fans have made a good trip. We've talked about this roster for York. They've got a lot of Virginia and Maryland. So it's one of these situations where this could actually be closer for some of the York fans to attend than the York home games. You get that situation quite often in college baseball because guys are from all over the place, guys and gals. But for York, they seem to travel well. It's a good athletics program there at York. This is a matchup that Mike Scappa really likes. He wants to keep it going for as long as he can. Kyle Flora is under one. Going to be a tougher play here in shallow right field. Prendergast was calling for it, and then he sprinted out of the way for Jacob Daimling to take it from the sky. That's out number 2. Lynchburg's going a little bit more quietly than they would like to go here. Connor Moore is a guy who can be loud contact from Connor Moore. He's done that so much in his career already. No extra base hits yet this year for Connor Moore. Double check that stat, though, for you fans. Doubting myself a little bit on that one. Connor Moore is going to hit this one to center field. First pitch will be another tough play. Long run for the center fielder. Instead, it's Prendergast that takes it. It's a short, quiet inning. Brian McDermott, in his first frame of work, gets high marks. We're through 4 complete. It's York 2, Lynchburg 1 on Flo College. The Spartans and the Hornets. Lynchburg's won 5 straight, 6 of the last 7. Remember, York took the series in 2024 as you get some shots at the fans enjoying the ball game here at Fox Field. Always a great place to watch a game. The field is kind of cut into a natural hillside, and everything sort of wants to feed down to what used to be College Lake here on the campus of the University of Lynchburg. They have changed that. The dam has been changed, and they want to make that more of a natural wetlands area. Some info on York, Pennsylvania. It's a 4-hour and 40-minute trip from Lynchburg, so not far at all, really, again, in the grand scheme of collegiate sports travel. 4 hours and 40 minutes is really not bad at all. You can kind of just go north from Baltimore. York is south of Harrisburg and Hershey, PA. And here's a fun one. It's known as the White Rose City. That one's new for me. Did not know York was the White Rose City, but that is apparently the name. Established in the 1740s, so some real history up there. And a note that we were discussing earlier, good swing right there from Luke Mosier. How about another 2-hit day for Mosier? Boy, he's seeing it and swinging it. Good stuff. 2 for 3 yesterday, 2 for 2 today. That makes him 4 for his last 5 against the University of Lynchburg. That thought I was getting ready to get to as Mosier gets the third hit of the ball game for York is the Division III National Championship in baseball will be headed to York, Pennsylvania. Not going to be played at the campus of York College. It's going to be at the minor league facility there, but York College is the host team. So that'll be really cool. It'll be at Wellspan Park in York, and it's going to be there in the 2027 season. I thought it was later than that. So we only got one more year for the D3 World Series, the national championship at East Lake, Ohio. They're going to be going to York, PA in 27 and 28. How about that? So that's really cool there. Wellspan Park in York, PA. Looking forward to that. Ground ball. This could be two. Ben Jones to Brandon Garcia. Oh, the only thing missing is the cape. It's a double play for Lynchburg. 4-6-3. Sam Ross grounding into that, and there you go. Pitcher's best friend with a double play. Double plays have been such a big part of our conversation over the years. And I always give the note about 2023, the national championship campaign. Lynchburg led the nation in double plays. And it was a very, very big part of what they did. I think those double plays are a byproduct of a couple things. First and foremost, you get pitchers that work down in the zone and do induce a lot of ground balls. And then you need a pretty good defense as well to do their thing. And Lynchburg has certainly had that over the years. Some of it's obviously luck. I mean, you got to have a runner on for a double play. But defensively, it really is a nice feather in the cap. Gives you a big, big boost. 1-1 here to Lucas Prendergast. This one just off. Nice location there from Matfield, but a miss. And it's 2 balls and 1 strike with 2 outs. This 2-1 is off the inside part of the bat. Foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Prendergast with a big move out of the box there. I think feeling like he might have missed one that was hittable. Deuce is wild now. 2-2 with 2 outs in a 2-1 ball game. York leading. Lynchburg playing Prendergast to pull. Here's a pitch from Matfield. Another foul ball. When you look at Lynchburg this year, double plays turned. That's just the second. So a little bit of a slower start to the double play category. And we'll see those numbers pick up as the year goes on. Matfield, another 2-2. This one is hit over Brandon Garcia's head. Boy, playing Prendergast to pull was the right idea because that one was right in line with the top of the cap from Brandon Garcia, but just too high to get. For Prendergast, it's a base hit. He had been 0 for his last 6 after going 2 for 2 on Friday. So the leadoff man for York will be glad to get back out there at the first base bag, and he's on with 2 outs, and Joe Urban 0 for 2. Floated one to Ben Jones in his last at bat to open the ball game. He flew out to Joe Munitz in left field. Hornets have 8-9-1 due up. Exactly the setup they had in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Lynchburg mustered up 1 run there to take an early lead, but now it's York 2, Lynchburg 1. Prendergast is a career .353 hitter. First team All-MAC Commonwealth last year. Fakes a steal, swing from Joe Urban, comes up with air, and it's an 0-1 count. Lucas Prendergast, another guy that we've been calling his name for so long. He's had a career. He's going to end up on a few of the leaderboards for York. He's probably on a few of them right now, but he's going to get there. Started every game last year. He was an all-region player last year. Second team All-MAC Commonwealth his sophomore season. And back in 2024, when York took 2 of 3, he had a great series there. Oh, he's been picked off again. Got picked off once in this series, picked there. What a move from Nick Matfield. Talk about controlling the running game. We were talking about Prendergast and his career exploits. That is not one that he is going to like. Inning is over. Half inning is over. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th and stay right here as Lynchburg looks to jazz up the offenses. We're having fun. Joe Brennan at the controls is our producer. And I'll tell you, Joe Brennan doesn't do this much, but I think back to last year in the regional play when we had the after midnight game over at Liberty University. That was so much fun. Joey B was absolutely cooking behind the scenes. And he had a few more options there. We had a few more cameras and some other replays and things like that. So we kind of got a smaller setup right now. But it's always fun to work with Joe. He's a great announcer. We got to hear him in a little cameo on Friday. So hopefully he keeps doing that. But he's got some real aptitude for the producing, directing. And always a good time when we have Eli Schilling in the box. Inskeep, our scorekeeper. Oh, that's right. She doesn't like for people to know that she's doing the score. So that's an alias, actually. It's not Caroline Inskeep, the former Lynchburg swimmer. That's actually an alias for our real official scorer, who we will not name, so the fans can't send their complaints. If you do have a complaint about an official score, address those cards and letters to Brady Moore, Director of Baseball Analytics / General Manager / Director of Baseball Ops. As we talk about our replays and our exciting Flo College broadcast. Glad to have you watching, fans. And you know this Flo subscription, by the way, because if you're watching right now, you have a Flo subscription. This gives you access to so much great stuff. So the University of Lynchburg, obviously spring sports in full swing. Check out everything Lynchburg. But with Flo, you can watch every sport you can imagine, from auto racing to gymnastics to wrestling to bowling to ping pong, table tennis. I'd like to get into squash a little bit, and also badminton is a really exciting sport. We were talking about the Winter Olympics and how cool that was. You can watch a lot of those on Flo. Flo's got all kinds of professional things. So, watch out. Kevin Angelillo just absolutely blistered this ball into the left center gap. He might be in full flow. Angelillo is 1 for 1 in the ball game, 2 for 4 on the year, and he's been on twice. Get a look at our little Lynchburg double celebration there from Angelillo. I think that was a kick the door down and invite yourself in celebration from Angelillo. Catcher is aboard for Kyle Moshier. Mosh hit a soft liner to second in his first at bat. He's 0 for 1. So yeah, just to put a bow on it, use that Flo subscription, sports fans. There is a lot of baseball to take in, and there's a lot of other sports that you can get in on with your Flo subscription. Could be a sacrifice bunt situation here for Kyle Moshier, the third baseman for York. Joe Urban is in on the grass. Nobody away here in the bottom of the 5th. A 2-hit inning for York, but they leave none on, thanks to Lynchburg's second double play of the season and also the fabulous pickoff move from Nick Matfield to get a frustrated Lucas Prendergast. That's why those pitchers work on those pick moves. That's why they should anyway. The 1-1 to Moshier. This ball's hitting the left center gap. Long run here for the left fielder, Alex Neild. He won't get it. It's down for extra bases. Angelillo gets the wave around third. No play there. It's a stand-up double for Kyle Moshier, and Lynchburg has tied the ball game. Back-to-back doubles as now the Lynchburg offense starting to raise the intensity just a bit. And it's the top of the order with Brandon Garcia. For Moshier on the season now. That's double number 2. Angelillo's first extra base hit. Lynchburg's got 20 doubles on the season now. 20 doubles through 8 games. And really, you kind of got to say 7+ games. Brandon Garcia What a fantastic bunt here. Hustling down to first. Safe there. Moshier going to come home to score. Heads up base running from Kyle Moshier. He saw that the catcher had vacated home. Matthew Wade went to go get the bunt. Actually made a pretty good play, but missed Garcia by half a step at first, and nobody recovered to cover at home. Fantastic heads-up base running by Kyle Moshier, and what an outstanding bunt single from Brandon Garcia. Lynchburg came into the inning with no hits. They've now got 3 in a row. And the heat is really on York now. Great mound visit by the coach, Mike Scappa, right here to settle things just a little bit. It is all happening at once on Fox Field. This is what the Hornets do, though. Lynchburg will be quiet for 3 or 4 inning stretches. Then they start to explode. And it so often happens now when you've seen pitchers a bit more. Remember, this is Brian McDermott, though. He entered in the 4th inning, so this is just going to be the 7th batter he's faced with Ben Jones. But this is what Lynchburg does. Sometimes they take a few innings or a few at-bats to kickstart. Then when they do get it kick-started, it is absolutely full song, 5th gear, drop of the hat. These guys are rock and roll. Ben Jones will step in with a runner on first and nobody out in the bottom of the 5th inning, and Lynchburg has snatched that lead back with 2 runs. Angelilo has scored 2 of the 3, by the way. This is a lot of fun right here. This is Lynchburg baseball, I think. Some of those innings where they don't get a hit and score runs, that's Lynchburg baseball too. This offense can really do that. Ben Jones was thinking about keeping the heat on with the short game. Inside baseball, maybe back-to-back bunts to pressure York a bit. Get their heads spinning some. Once again, fantastic time for a visit there by Coach Scappa. Brought the whole infield in. Good steep breaking ball from Brian McDermott. Good width and depth to that breaking ball. Lateral movement, side to side would be the width, up and down the depth. Nice pitch. It was a ball, though. 2-0 to Ben Jones. Garcia leaning slightly, maybe playing some games with Brian McDermott, the lefty. The explosive Lynchburg offense. I think most ball clubs can go through quiet stretches where they don't get a base runner for 3 innings. I mean, that's kind of how baseball works. So that is not necessarily uncommon. But when they really start to bust out, man, Lynchburg can roll. It's another multi-run inning, by the way, for Lynchburg. It's the 19th time they've scored more than 1 run in an inning. Crooked numbers is the term, the baseball term. A 1 is not crooked. It's just one straight line. I think everybody understands that, but we'll throw it out there once if not. 2 balls, 1 strike to Ben Jones. 11 walks already on the season. Benny Bombs will be patient here, even with Lynchburg starting to take the governor off the engine. Ben Jones is one of those engines for this team, though, isn't he? He is kind of a Cadillac. He's a Ferrari. Lynchburg's got a whole lineup of guys like that, though. That's why they're going to be so dangerous. Ben Jones under this one. Playable. Could be a tough play here for Joe Urban. Ends up making it look pretty easy, and there's your first out of the inning. It'll bring up Jack Pokerock. And you talk about engines, and you talk about guys that can be destructive. This man, JP, Jurassic Park, Jack Pokerock. He can be an absolute monster. Jurassic Park, one of the all-time great movies, by the way, and then now we've got like 12 sequels and 3 remakes. That was exaggeration. There's not 12 sequels, but a healthy amount of Jurassic Park sequels. But I tell you, for me, the original really stands the test of time, and it's a great nickname for a guy like Jack Pokerock, because you remember Jurassic Park, they brought the dinosaurs back, and it's not that he's a dinosaur, it's just that he can be a monster. This one is hit high, but it's going to stay in the yard. Long run for Alex Neal. He sprinted back, got behind it well for the second out of the inning. So monster and dinosaur talk for Jack Pokerock. We'll have to wait. Here comes Quinn Madden. Madden, obviously, can be a monster. Did it again. It's not obvious. But after I tell you some of Quinn Madden's numbers. You'll see why I said it was obvious. Let's go back to 2023. Quinn Madden in the month of March had 32 hits. He drove in 35. He set the Lynchburg single-season RBI record in 2023. Keep the theme going with the numbers. There were 23 multi-hit games in 2023 for Quinn Madden. Sprays this one down the first base line. Long run for Lucas Prendergast, but the second baseman takes over, and Lynchburg started the inning with the bang. It kind of ends with a whimper, a couple pop-ups, and a deep fly ball, but the Hornets do lead again. Lynchburg 3, York 2 after 5 complete at Foxy. Welcome back to the Fortress on Fox. We're at James C. Fox Field, the campus of the University of Lynchburg, getting a look at some of the hardware, the championships, the regional appearances, everything that Lynchburg has done. So much of it in recent memory, but this is a program that was really good when it started in the 70s. Don't know if you saw the regional appearances there in the 70s, folks, and some great runs. Ooh, watch out. First pitch swung on by Joe Urban. Percy Abel, the legendary head coach through most of the 90s and the first decade of the 2000s. Coach Abel won not a billion ball games, but it felt like it. And then the Lucas Jones era / Travis Beasley. Things have really picked up there. World Series appearances in 23 and 24. The national title in 23. How about Joe Urban? He doesn't care about any of those championships for Lynchburg. He just wants a single over Nick Matfield's head. 5th hit of the ball game for York. And York actually has hits in 3 of their last 4. The reason why there's not much from that was the 4-6-3 double play, and then also Lucas Prendergast getting erased on a pickoff after his single. It was back-to-back singles going back to inning number 5. We're in the top of the 6th. So starting to get late here at Fox Field. Got some more really good numbers. Lynchburg holding on to a 25-game win streak here on the Fox Fortress. This one tapped foul by Richard Klein. Klein is 0 for 1 with a walk. He scored a run for York. 1 of 2. Alex Neild hit by a pitch, had the other. Neild's in the hole right now with Matthew Wade on deck. So the Hornets are 2-0 at home this year. 23-0 at home last season. Lost 1 ball game at home in the national championship run in 2023. That was a notable game against Bridgewater in the opening round of ODAC play. We'll keep an eye on those numbers and tell you more about that, but shift the focus back to Richard Klein here. 2 for 11 coming into the ballgame. 350 hitter last season. Inside target for Angelilo. Matfield won't pitch to that section of the strike zone yet because he'll throw over to first base. The runner there is Joe Urban. Urban 1 for 3 after that hot shot up the middle. Matfield will peel this one off, and just enough to stay alive by Richard Klein. One-run ball game. Feels like it could be a potential running situation for York. Sometimes you run to stay out of the double play. Other times you run to get that runner in scoring position. That's more of your two-out concept when you're running there. Not going to need to, as this ball is going to skip away from Angelilo. Bounced well in front of his chest protector. Probably a wild pitch from Nick Matfield. Urban does scamper into second. It's a full count now for Matthew Wade. 3 balls, 2 strikes. None gone in the top of the 6th. Lynchburg's got Munitz, Flora, and more coming up to bat in the bottom of the frame. Klein under this one, right side. First baseman Jack Pokerock will catch as he straddles the foul line. That's your first out of the 6th inning, and it will bring up Matthew Wade. Wade came into the ball game hitting .400. It's down to .333 after an 0 for 2 day so far in this one. Going to be a mound visit here for Angelilo. Might be buying time for the bullpen guys to get warmed up. Probably a talk over the battle plan here against Matthew Wade. Wade was hit by a pitch yesterday, 2 strikeouts. He homered against Tyler Kaltreiter on Friday. That was part of a 2 for 4 day. Matthew Wade ended the game with 2 punch-outs. But a guy that could obviously change the game with one swing of the bat, whether it's a home run or just doing something to score the runner at second, Joe Urban. Alex Neild on deck has 3 home runs, and it looks like there will be a pitching change for Lynchburg as the manager, Travis Beasley, emerges from the dugout and lets the umpire know that they're going to switch it up. We'll pause for just one moment and get ready to greet the next Lynchburg arm. Hold tight. Lynchburg on top 3-2 on Flo College. The second Lynchburg pitcher of the ball game will be number 13, Mason McDowell. Maximum Mason, senior from Fishersville, Virginia. Came in as a two-way guy and actually had his career first base hit. It was a double against York back in 2023. Really emerged as one of the key bullpen options in the national title run. Closed out the first win in Cedar Rapids, Iowa at the World Series. That was in a ball game against Wisconsin lacrosse that was getting really close. Mason pitched well in the Super Regional against Shenandoah, and more appearances in that World Series followed. But he is the definition of a hard-throwing right-hander, kind of a rock-and-fire guy who has continued to work on his game, continued to work on the secondary pitch, and it is a good sharp breaking ball for Mason McDowell. He will be counted on as one of the elite options for Lynchburg this year. And I got a great Fox Field number. I was looking for the record in the decade of the 20s. But hold that. Let's talk more about Mason McDowell. And we'll talk more about the hitter with one gone. Matthew Wade will hit a ground ball. Great stab by Brandon Garcia. He will use the arm fake. The runner at second did not bite. That was heads up by Joe Urban. He seemed to expect that. He was already diving back into second base. This will bring up Alex Neal. That's an infield single. Sixth of the ball game for York. First one, obviously, that Mason McDowell has surrendered because he just came in. Well, you don't realize how much you use a word till you start trying to eliminate it from your vocabulary. But if you just joined us, Mason McDowell has entered the ball game in relief of Nick Matfield. We'll get you some final numbers on Nick Matfield, who will be in line for the win right now. Lynchburg leads 3-2 in the top of the sixth inning. Two on, with one out. Jack Pokerock, the first baseman, playing behind the runner there. McDowell just off the plate. And it's 2 balls and no strikes. Mason McDowell, over the years, has really been one of the more fun guys to watch. He can be electric on the mound. High pop to shallow right field. Ben Jones just kind of drifting towards the first base line will navigate the sun and make the play for out number 2 of the inning. This brings up Jacob Daimling. McDowell last year didn't throw as much, just 5 appearances last season for Mason McDowell. Go back to 2023, 17 appearances. He was 1-0 with 1 save. The earned run average was 3.37. Threw the ball 22 times in 2024, 3 saves there with 1 win. McDowell has often been sort of a setup / middle / stopper kind of a reliever. At times, he has been the true closer for this team. In the career, 65 punch-outs to just 38 walks. So far this season, he's appeared once. He threw 2 2/3 innings. Another foul ball here by Daimling. 2 2/3 innings in the loss to Rhodes. He surrendered no hits, no earned runs, 1 walk, struck out 2. He's got Daimling on the ropes here, 0-2. McDowell set, checks the runner, lifts the leg, and this is another foul ball from Daimling, who's staying alive. He had the single, an RBI single, advanced to second on the error in his last at bat. Daimling is also grounded out to the shortstop. Runners on first and second, and we're in the 6th inning, so you're starting to feel a bit more tension. McDowell looks in, missed inside, and now it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ethan Hotchkiss is on deck. Hotchkiss is 0 for 2. Did hit a ball hard his last at bat to left field. Luke Mosier in the hole is 2 for 2. You'd feel real good if he came up with runners on for York. 2 outs. McDowell misses low and away. For Lynchburg, it'll be 5, 6, 7 in the bottom of the frame. Mason McDowell set and ready to go again. Outfield shaded the opposite way. This one bounces in. Angelilo, a good job to body it. 1 runner will advance. Urban went to third. Matthew Wade held at first. Some value in that. Angelilo would have preferred that ball stay sequestered on the dirt area and have no runners advance. But just getting enough of it to hold Wade at first, some importance there. Now Angelilo will come out and give the first to third defensive setup. Got to understand how you're going to defend it if the runner takes off at first. Need to know what you're going to do if the runner takes off from first early, or those steals stop, those first to third permutations that an offense can run. Here comes the full count from McDowell. Down and in. It was ball 4. Sorry, Wade was running on the pitch anyway with the full count and 2 outs. Announcer mistake there, but good to run down those scenarios, I guess. Bases are loaded now with 2 outs for Ethan Hotchkiss. Green Spartan jerseys all around the base paths here at Fox Field. And a big spot for Ethan Hotchkiss facing Mason McDowell. Better miss from McDowell, but that is ball 1. Luke Mosier on deck, 2 for 2. 3-2 ball game. Lynchburg holding on to a 1-run lead right now. Mason McDowell in a fireman kind of a role. He's been there a lot in his career. He'll get strike 1 with a foul ball. McDowell, 5'10", 185 pounds. He gets a lot of firepower out of that frame. Nice location on the 1-1 there, just peppering that low and outside corner. Dugout coming alive for the Lynchburg Hornets, the York dugout. Volume increases as well. 1 ball, 2 strikes. McDowell breaking ball, and Hotchkiss just barely getting a piece. Nice job to keep the bat in the zone long enough for Mason McDowell. McDowell in that great run that he had back in 2023. In ODAC tournament play, he pitched against Bridgewater, pitched against Shenandoah, threw against North Carolina Wesleyan in a regional win, Shenandoah in a super win. It looks like he's going to get Hotchkiss to pop up, but not in play. It was 2 innings in a super regional win against Shenandoah. He gave up no earned runs. McDowell closed the ball game out and got the save against Wisconsin Lacrosse. Also pitched in one of the Johns Hopkins wins as well. Slider from McDowell got under Angelilo. Runner took off late. Ooh, a reprieve there for Lynchburg. And that's one that the runner, Joe Urban, he did not sight well and didn't realize how far it kicked away from Angelilo. In hindsight, he could have, and I think we can say should have, scored. 2-2 now with 2 outs. McDowell went with the breaking ball there. Let's see if he follows up with another, or maybe it's heater time again. McDowell set, ready to fire. Bullseye from Mason McDowell to leave him loaded. McDowell does come in and put out the fire. He'll walk back to the dugout. Lead intact. Lynchburg 3, York 2. In the inning, the Spartans, no runs on 2 hits. They leave 3 stranded, and McDowell might have been rocky at times, but it ends up being a successful relief appearance there. He gets 2 outs. Does end up surrendering 1 base hit and 1 walk. We'll see if Mason McDowell comes back or if it's time for Lynchburg to really, really lean on the bullpen. Try to run down this line now for Nick Matfield, now that we know that his runner he was responsible for there, Joe Urban, did not score. For Matfield in the ball game, it'll be 5 1/3. He gives up 1 earned run, I think. 2 total, but 1 earned. Getting confirmation on that from Brady Moore. Nick Matfield surrendered 5 hits in the ball game. No extra base hits there. All singles. That's been a trait for Nick Matfield. Very good at keeping the ball down. Very good at keeping the baseball in the park. Matfield did strike out 5. And an interesting note on the strikeouts, they all came the first time through the order. So credit York for making some adjustments there. No more Nick Matfield strikeouts after the first 9, but he does punch out 5. Ends up with 1 walk and 1 hit by pitch. We might get a chance to chat with Nick Matfield on our post-game interview. Maybe another player will arise. I'd love to talk to Nick from a career perspective. I think this outing will not fall in the top 5 or the top 10 or anything for Nick Matfield. After all, this was start number 50 for Matty Nickfield. But I think it's got to be a passing grade for sure. If we're going pass-fail on the grading system, it definitely feels like a pass. And maybe we'll try to get a thought from Nick Matfield on maybe where he would grade it, A, B, C, D, F. Some pitchers, again, don't think that way. Also, some guys want to marinate on it a little bit. Some guys want to watch the tape. Others are willing to make an assessment maybe the instant they come in the dugout. Other guys need to think about it and have a little bit more time to go through some of the things that happen. But I think a thumbs up for Nick Matfield, and we'll say a thumbs up for Mason McDowell. Although, again, he might get a different story. Mason would tell you, hey, I should have been a lot sharper there. He does get out of the inning, getting Ethan Hotchkiss to strike out looking. And now we've moved to the bottom of the 6th inning with the leadoff man, in this case, being Joe Munitz. Jolton Joe's 0 for 2. 1 fly out, 1 ground out. Kyle Flora on deck, also 0 for 2. Activity continues in the Lynchburg bullpen. That doesn't mean Mason McDowell won't come back out, but certainly something we'll keep our eyes on. Pitcher for York is still Brian McDermott. He came on in relief of Dylan Michalowski, who looked great through the first 3 innings, held Lynchburg hitless through 3 innings. Lynchburg does have 3 hits total. They all came last frame, the bottom of the 5th, where the Hornets scored 2. Joe Munitz hits with a 3-ball, 1-strike count. This ball's pushed into center field, airborne, probably catchable for Sam Ross. Positive result there for the York Spartans. 1 out in the bottom of the 6th inning. Kyle Flora, first-year man, makes his way to the plate. F8, first time up at center field. F9 to right. His next at bat, he rides a 7-game hitting streak. 12 knocks total so far in 2026. 5 of those are extra base hits. Flora in the future, going forward, it'll be interesting to see where he ends up in the lineup after some of these greats for Lynchburg move on, because he's got some traits that a leadoff hitter has as far as speed, high contact guy, patience, can take walks. But he also exhibits traits of a power middle of the lineup guy, a 3-4-5 type of hitter. So Travis Beasley and the coaching staff will certainly have some options as far as where to put Kyle Flora in the lineup. Could be a guy that moves over to center field at some point in his career. Expected to have a very, very good career for Lynchburg. Future is now, though. Can't think too much about what happens going forward when we got a tight ball game right here. Lynchburg trying to extend a winning streak, 5 in a row. It's 25 in a row on Fox Field. 2-2 count right now for Kyle Flora. And I'm going to give you the number in the 20s here in just a second after this pitch. This might blow your mind, fans. The 2-2 on the way is bounced to the shortstop. Mosier is going to field it on the middle hop. Ouch, throw it. Threw it over the head of the first baseman and out of play. That's an E6, and Flora gets second because the ball went over the fence and out of play. So in the decade of the 20s, Lynchburg baseball, it really has been the roaring 20s. The record for Lynchburg on Fox Field is 111-15. Give it to you again. 111-15 on Fox Field in the decade of the 20s. We are in 2026, by the way. So 111 out of 126. Just absolutely mind-boggling. I don't know about college baseball, what other teams' home records are. There's got to be some really, really good ones. But I think that one is up there with the really, really good ones. We have ourselves a pinch hitter, by the way, fans. With a runner on second and 1 out, that's Kyle Flora at second. Our pinch hitter is going to be number 23, Landon Griffin. 43, well, I'm wrong, sorry. 43, Wes Stubby. Charles Stubby, first-year man, right-handed hitter from Virginia Beach, Virginia. 6'1", 200 pounds, infielder/catcher combo. Wes swings through that one, and it's a 1-1 count. He is pinch hitting for Connor Moore. Connor Moore's day will end with 2 flyouts. One was a hard line drive to right field, but 0 for 2 for Connor Moore. Wes is a really impressive guy. Again, physically imposing at 6'1", 200 pounds. Got some bat speed. Certainly has some fly ball, some deep fly ball characteristics to his hitting profile. And he can bust line drives all over the yard as well. 2-2 count on Stubby, S-T-U-B-B-E. Pitcher is still Brian McDermott. I think he's done a fine job limiting this Lynchburg offense. Consider, too, he gave up 3 straight base hits and really did a nice job stabilizing and minimizing, only allowing 2 runs. Full count now as Stubby took a close one there. Angelilo still on deck. He's 1 for 1 with 2 of the 3 Lynchburg runs. Kyle Moshier, the 9-hole man, scored the other. Payoff. Stubby's under this one. It's going to be over our heads for a foul ball. Three balls, 2 strikes. There's one away in the bottom of the 6th inning. York offense has gotten at least 1 hit in the last 4 consecutive frames. Lynchburg still only has hits in 1 inning. That was the bottom of the 5th. Nothing through the first 4 and nothing yet in the bottom of the 6th. Another full count pitch, up and away, and it's a base or a full count walk. Does make it runners on first and second now for Gavin Angelilo. 1 for 3 with a run scored against Rhodes, so very, very small sample size for Angelilo. He did play an inning worth of defense yesterday, but offensively so far this year, he's 2 for 4 with 3 runs scored. Short conversation between Matthew Wade, the catcher, and his battery mate, the pitcher, Brian McDermott. York bullpen is busy. Lynchburg bullpen quiet now, but there had been activity. Actually starting to see another pitcher get loose in the Lynchburg bullpen. Runners on first and second. Ground ball might get York out of here. Extra base hit might bust the game wide open. Lynchburg leads 3-2. Bottom 6. Kyle Haney and our cavalcade, not cavalcade, but that could be a word too. Our cavalcade of stars in the press box at Fox Field. 1-0 delivery to Angelilo. He's out in front of this. York's going to get at least 1. Throw across the diamond is on target. That is a 5-3 double play. Joe Urban did well to not rush that and throw it all the way across the infield for 2 outs. York does get that ground ball they needed, and they escape the 6th, still only trailing by 1. Hornets 3, Spartans 2 on Flo College. Line score through 6 complete looks like this. York 2 runs on 6 hits. No extra base hits yet for the Spartans. They have made 2 errors defensively. York has left 2 runners on, 1 in scoring position. For Lynchburg, they lead 3-2. 3 runs on 3 hits. They all came in the 5th inning. 2 extra base hits. Those were doubles from Angelilo and Moshier. Lynchburg has made 1 error defensively. That was Joe Munitz in left field. Hornets have stranded 5. 2 of those in scoring position. Pitcher is still Mason McDowell. He's got a different catcher to work with, though. Sean Pokerock has been inserted in the ballgame for Gavin Angelilo. Angelilo's day will end with some good and some bad. And a double, he scored a run, hit by a pitch, scored a run, grounded into that 5-3 double play that ended the 6th inning and allows York to stay more than arm's length away. They're in tight here in a 1-run ball game. Ground ball, Brandon Garcia. He'll hunt that hop like we talked about and fling it across for the first out of the inning. Nice play by Brandon Garcia. Short at bat for Luke Mosier. This is Sam Ross. Sam Ross, 0 for 2 this season. This is his first action of the year as a hitter. We saw him pitch on Friday and look good from a side arm, low 3/4 arm slot. Ross is the 9-hole hitter. Lucas Prendergast is on deck. Nasty breaking ball there from Mason McDowell, but not close enough for a called strike, and Ross held onto the bat long enough. McDowell entered with 1 out last inning, gave up a single, got a pop out to Ben Jones, walked the next hitter, and then struck out Ethan Hotchkiss. This is Ross going with the pitch, sending it the other way for a single. Hit number 7 of the ball game for York. We've been impressed with the York offense. I'll use that word neutralize again. I think Lynchburg did a great job yesterday of neutralizing York's most talented hitters and keeping them in check. It's a Spartan unit that can really get out of pocket on you quick. And this man is the ringleader, I think. Leadoff hitter, a guy who was a first-team all-conference player last year for York, Lucas Prendergast. He's going to make a case for Player of the Year in the MAC Commonwealth this season. Don't want to put too much on his shoulders. I just think he's got the game for it. There'll be some other great competitors in that MAC Commonwealth. We mentioned the 2 teams ahead of York in the preseason poll, Alvernia second and Messiah first. They've both been tournament teams in years past and been really, really good baseball programs. There's Mason McDowell, bottom rail heater, catches a piece. Joe Urban is on deck. Hornets are going to have 9-1-2 due up in the bottom of the 7th. Wind really picking up now here at Fox Field. First time we've really seen our American flag over the scoreboard completely unfurled, which is a fantastic word. And I think maybe about the only place you can use it is when you're talking about a flag billowing in the wind. There's another good word. 1-1. McDowell will throw to Prendergast, but not yet. Wind speed is up to 10 or 11 miles an hour now, according to the internet. When we started, it was really in that 1 to 2 mile an hour range. We just had a slight breeze out there. There is Prendergast is going to slash this one by the diving Ben Jones. Back-to-back hits for York. This offense really is starting to pick up. 8 hits in the ball game. They're all singles right now. Got the power hitters on the way. Joe Urban is 1 for 3 right now. He's in the batter's box. He was in the middle of saying we've got some weather coming into Central Virginia tomorrow. Mixed precipitation, snow, sleet, freezing rain, just plain old cold rain some tomorrow in Central Virginia. Not expected to really accumulate, but temperatures are going to go way down. And back to the meteorology, a lot of times, in advance of one of those fronts or one of those systems, you will get a windy day, and then you'll get windy days on the backside of those fronts too. Looks like it's a change coming for Lynchburg. Travis Beasley's out of the dugout again. Mason McDowell will pass the baton, and we'll greet the new Hornet arm in just a moment. Stand by. Back to baseball, back to the bullpen. It's Bobby Bullpen. Colin McGuire takes the rock here in a 1-run ball game, top of the 7th. 2 on, 1 out. Mason McDowell, his line looks like McDowell gives up 3 hits in 1 inning total. He came on with 1 out in the 6th inning. He'll exit with 1 out in the 7th inning. 1 out total, no runs yet. The guys on base will be McDowell's responsibility. He struck out 1 and walked 1. Now the attention to Colin McGuire. And this is a big spot for Colin McGuire. He gave up the home run that put York ahead on Friday. Lynchburg ended up scoring 2 in the bottom of the 9th. But it looked like Colin McGuire was going to get a loss. Instead, he gets a win. That game he entered in a non-save situation, a tie ball game. This will be appearance number 4 of the season. McGuire worked 2 1/3 in the win against Piedmont, 1 2/3 against Salisbury in that victory. So Colin McGuire, the junior from Cross Junction, Virginia, is on again. Breaking ball, strike 1. Nice start from Colin McGuire. I didn't think McGuire had bad stuff at all on Friday. Really just made, we have to say, one bad pitch. Alex Neal busted it over the left field fence. Other than that, for McGuire, it was a pop out to third, a strikeout, and a ground ball to third. 1 ball, 1 strike right now, as Joe Urban is the batter. Richard Klein on deck. Matthew Wade in the hole. Alex Neal due up after those. Brandon Garcia on the move. Throw, pulled Jack Pokerock off the bag. It's probably going to be an infield single for Joe Urban. The runner was part of the matrix there. Kyle Moshier was thinking about cutting in front of the runner to get the ball. And Brandon Garcia, I think, not necessarily happy with the runner there, saying he had to adjust his route to that chopper because of the runner. That runner in question is Sam Ross. Ross moves to third. Prendergast at second. 3 singles in a row for York. It'll bring up Richard Klein. Klein's 0 for 2 with a walk and a strikeout. Ground out in there for Klein. No, it was a ground out. No, it was a pop-up to Jack Pokerock. Sorry, still early in the year, fans. After this weekend, we probably got to ditch that excuse, though. We do hope you join us 1 week from yesterday. ODAC play starts with the Washington and Lee Generals in town. Snapper from Colin McGuire that Richard Klein couldn't get on the hook after a fishing expedition. 1-1 count with 1 out. Got to watch the squeeze here. Could be in play, bases loaded. It's a 1-run ball game, 3-2. No, Klein's your 3-hole hitter. A lot of times you trust those guys just to drive in runs with a swing, but sometimes small ball is called for. Mike Scappa, watch him. Maybe put a squeeze play on. Swing and a miss. Bobby Bullpen had some juice on that fastball. 2-2 count now. Top of the 7th inning. There's 1 away. Wind continues to blow out to right field on a nice first day of March. McGuire throws a breaking ball inside. Klein gets to it and pumps it into left. 1 run is in. Next runner holds at third. We have ourselves a tie ball game. 4 consecutive singles for these York College Spartans. Offense is starting to really hit another gear for York. 10 hits in the ball game. They're all singles, but it has been steady for York. This is the 5th consecutive inning that they've got at least 1 base hit. Nothing in innings 1 and 2. Since then, it has been consistent. Bases are loaded again. McGuire will pepper the outer edge with the heater. No balls and 1 strike to start Matthew Wade. And if you needed to be reminded, Wade homered on Friday as well. Takes a slash here and pumps it over our heads in the press box. He's in an 0-2 hole. Alex Neal is on deck. That will be psychological for Colin McGuire. I won't call it a psychological hurdle or anything. And McGuire will back himself to get anybody out. That's part of the reason why he is one of the best on the back end of that bullpen. 1-2 now after a miss or perhaps an intentional setup pitch off the plate. Sean Pokerock, the catcher, he's out there again. Check swing. I think he went around. Let's see if the umpire agrees. Yeah, that it's a called strike 3. Second out of the inning. A little bit anticlimactic there, but Matthew Wade will strike out. That's McGuire's first punch out. 7th strikeout of the ball game for York. Here's Alex Neal. He hit a home run off Colin McGuire Friday to put York ahead. He could do the same right here in the top of the 7th inning. The dinger on Friday was in the bottom of the 9th. McGuire holds on to that one a bit too long, spikes it into the turf, and Sean Pokerock bodies it no problem. Great baseball moment right here. You've got 2 outs late in a ball game, in a tie game, and you've got some individual context to the matchup as well, with the hitter having homered off the pitcher. This is fantastic, isn't it? Sometimes you wait all season to get one of these types of moments. We've got it right here on March the 1st. Lynchburg is 6-1, winners of 5 straight, 25 in a row on Fox Field. York looking for their first victory this season. Close on Friday in the 1-run loss. Here's a 1-1. This one chopped to the third baseman. Kyle Moshier will get the hop. Bazooka toss across. He got him by a nose. Great play by Moshe at third, and Colin McGuire does get his man. York leaves him loaded, but not before they tie it. We've got ourselves a 3-3 affair going to the bottom of the 7th on Fox Field. Kyle Moshier staying loose like the LHSN/Flo college team. Moshe with a double, RBI double. He later scored on Brandon Garcia's bunt single, where some really heads-up base running. He saw that the catcher, Matthew Wade, was going to be a little bit late getting back to home plate, and Kyle Moshier got in there safely. So he scored a run. Kind of a soft liner to the second baseman his first time up. The pitcher is still Brian McDermott. We've got to give McDermott some really high marks. He's kept this offense in check. Entered in the 4th inning. The run scoring for Lynchburg, most of it came in the 5th. This ball down and in. We're in the bottom of the 7th. So it's appropriate that our team was stretching here in the middle of the 7th inning. Some teams, some broadcasters give you that stretch time warning. I think you could stretch at any time during the ball game. And it is interesting that it happens in the 7th inning in baseball because it's not halfway. It's actually beyond halfway. Might be more important maybe to have a stretch in the middle of the 5th or the 6th. But anyway, that digression is over. Kyle Moshier, pretty easy walk, I think. Didn't really have to do too much tough decision-making on the swing-take analysis. And we'll bring up Brandon Garcia. Garcia's 1 for 2, a walk, and he had that bunt single. if you're York, I think you really want to be watching out for a bunt single again for Brandon Garcia because, again, it's a two-way concept. And here it is right here. Garcia's going to take this one with him, trying to drag it down the first base line. It's foul. Two-way concept with the bunt implies that an average bunt or an okay bunt will at minimum still move the runner into scoring position. And a great bunt, you might get yourself a base hit out of it, which is what Brandon Garcia did last time with the bunt single. Now, Garcia's a hitter as well. He's rewriting the record book in that category, too. Career .311 hitter. He's over 190 in his career now. Over 190 hits in his career. For Lynchburg, on the career side, you've got 5 players in Lynchburg history with over 200 hits. Gavin Collins, by the way, career leader in that category with 228. Here's the bunt from Brandon Garcia. Urban picks it up, throws it into the ground. Not fielded cleanly there. Moshier going to hustle to third. Heads up, base running again from Mosh. He will stay put now. Brandon Garcia is going to go into second. So you saw some good and bad baseball in the same exact play. The good for York was the left fielder, Alex Neild, came all the way in to back up that throw exactly as he should, and he prevented Kyle Moshier from scoring on that one. The bad from York is probably the catcher or pitcher should have rerouted to third base a little bit quicker so Mosh couldn't go first to third there. It's another base hit for Brandon Garcia. Back-to-back bunt singles for Hollywood. He's got 2 of the 4 Lynchburg hits. Lynchburg's only got 4 of them. Infield drawn in for Ben Jones. Benny Bombs with a chance to break this tie and get Lynchburg back to where they want to be, the driver's seat in a potential sweep Sunday against York. Always a game and ready Spartan Ball Club, though. Always gutsy and ready. This one nearly hits Ben Jones. He has to move the black helmet out of the way. And now your count is 1 ball and 1 strike. No outs here. A potential big moment for Lynchburg. 1 run is massive. 2, 3, 4 would be even better. Jones under this one. It's out of play, though, and now the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. More great base running from Kyle Moshier. For Lynchburg, Mosh took walk number 3 of the ball game. Much better with the control for these 2 York pitchers today. Dylan Michalowski started it. Brian McDermott took it from there, and he's still on the mound. Ben Jones, check swing. Did he offer? Yes, he did. Oh, now he's going to head to first base because that ball was not caught cleanly, but the catcher, Matthew Wade, in time with a toss. Moshier not opting to use aggressive base running there and try to score on that lob down to first. There's 1 away in the bottom of the 7th. This is the 7th inning where York scored 1 in the top of the frame to go ahead. To tie, rather. Change coming here. Maybe. I shouldn't assume it's going to be a change. Everybody's congratulating Brian McDermott, and yeah, he's taking the wristwatch off, so this will be a pitching change. Let's just stay here for this one and kind of talk you through it and give you some of the things that have happened in this ball game. 10 hits in this one for York. Lynchburg with just 4. 2 of those are bunt singles from Brandon Garcia. The other 2 hits are doubles. Gavin Angelilo with his double. He later scored. Kyle Moshier scored Angelilo with his double. He later came around to score with the heads-up base running. New pitcher for York is number 40. This is Jake Ludwig, 6'5", 235-pound sophomore. Another Virginia guy, Ashburn, Virginia, Briar Woods High School. He is on with runners on first and second facing the meat of the Lynchburg order. Jack Pokerock, Quinn Madden on deck. Joe Munitz, if Lynchburg can extend the inning that far, right now it's a 3-3 ball game. York officially has 3 errors. Lynchburg 1. So Spartan defense with some miscues is still very much in this ball game. That'll make them feel good, and I think the pitching much, much better for Mike Scappa today, something he can feel good about there. Yesterday, if you remember, Lynchburg got 10 hits, They also racked up 15 walks in the win yesterday. This has been better today. York pitchers, the two of them so far, have only walked 3. York pitchers did hit one batter. That was Gavin Angelilo. The ball is Jake Ludwig's. He will become the 3rd pitcher York has used. Lynchburg has used 3. Nick Matfield, quality start in the 50th of his career. Wow, congratulations again to Nick Matfield. Nobody started more games at the Division III level actively than Nick Matfield. And it was Mason McDowell, 2nd pitcher, Colin McGuire. We assume McGuire will come back out for more in the top of the 8th inning. Sometimes assuming is a bad thing. Jack Pokerock facing Jake Ludwig against Jack Pokerock. Twister was never close from Ludwig, and it's ball 1. Ludwig last year was 1-0 in 7 appearances, did make 1 start. He's pitched 1 time this year through 2 innings against Catholic on Wednesday. 3 punch-outs, 2 free passes, 3 hits against Catholic. The 1-0 to Jack Pokerock. That time the spinner does land, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Last year for Ludwig, the earned run average was 7.41. More walks than strikeouts. He'll get that straightened out this year. Pokey, under it. Shallow fly ball, long run in center field. Mo Shear's going to bluff the run home. Pretty good throw on the 1 hop there by the center fielder, Sam Ross. F8, 2nd out of the bottom of the 7th. Let's see if Quinn Madden can punch the clock here for Lynchburg. Number 16 is 0 for 3 in this ball game after going 3 for 5 yesterday with 6 driven in. He's a proven run producer. He lives for spots like this. Jake Ludwig, set, slightly closed, delivers off the plate with a breaking ball. It's ball 1. 2 in scoring position for Quinn Madden. Good speed at both bases. Nice play there by Sam Ross, the 3rd of 3 center fielders that York has used. Madden swings on this, catches the bottom of the ball, and the catch is made at first base. They're going to call Madden out anyway. They're going to say maybe his move there running to first was interference. Doesn't matter. Ball was caught. Inning is over. Lynchburg gets a couple on. No runs. 1 hit. 2 left stranded. Nice job by Jake Ludwig to get out of damage. We're still tied through 7 complete. Here's Jacob Deimling stepping in the batter's box again. Deimling is 1 for 2 with a walk. This ball's hit well to right field, but catchable for Kyle Flora. 1 pitch, 1 out for Colin McGuire. Ethan Hotchkiss is the new hitter. He's 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts. Struck out looking against Mason McDowell to end the 6th inning. He's faced all 3 of the Lynchburg arms. McGuire working from the windup. One of the rare closers that does employ a windup, I think. We're safe to say that. 1 ball, no strikes. Luke Mosier on deck. He's 2 for 3. Breaking ball from McGuire is true, and now it's 1-1. We've got the finish line in sight here in the top of the 8th inning, but both teams are neck and neck. 3-3 ball game. Kyle Haney spending a Sunday with you. This ball is pulled to left field by Hotchkiss, and it's gone. Home run over the fence and inside the pole. Ethan Hotchkiss leaves the yard to left to put York up by 1. Solo shot, and it's the second solo go-ahead home run that McGuire has allowed in this series. A 9th inning home run on Friday. That can leave some scar tissue for some players. I think Colin McGuire isn't really fazed by those kinds of things. But right now, Lynchburg will play from behind again. Hotchkiss home run. First game he's played in, and congrats to the first year for his career. First hit and home run. Hotchkiss, a frosh from Waynesboro, Pennsylvania. He was 0 for 3 before that swing. Solo home run has given him his first career hit, and he's put his ball club up 4-3. Breaker from McGuire is there for strike 2. No balls, 2 strikes to Luke Mosier. A stunned feeling again slightly here at Fox Field. Tapper, McGuire's got plenty of time and athleticism. He'll shovel to Jack Pokerock for the second out of the inning. Sam Ross, number 29, the junior center fielder, walks up. He's 1 for 2. Grounded into a double play, just the second Lynchburg has turned this season. Ross struck out in his first at bat. Another first pitch strike from Colin McGuire. This York ball club can play. There's some power as well. 2 home runs on Friday, 1 here today. This is a team, I think, that can really exceed expectations. They hit .293 last year with 36 jacks. Home runs aren't the only number to look at, obviously. Neither is batting average. It's a York team that's got some pieces that I think that are going to be really, really good. Here's a base hit bunt attempt from Ross. Not bad, but it will drift foul, and now it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. 2 away in the top of the 8th. 2 runs for York in the 4th, 1 in the 7th, 1 in the 8th. For Lynchburg, inning by inning across the bottom of the scoreboard, it's goose eggs in 1 and 2, 1 run in the 3rd, blanked in the 4th, 2 spot in the 5th, and then zeros in 6 and 7. Ross got a piece of that. Nice play by Pokerock. Backhand flip. McGuire got him. Beat him to the bag. Excellent play there by Colin McGuire, and Jack Pokerock with a little flare on the backhand flip. Looked like a second baseman or a shortstop there. JP gets it done, but York on top 1-0. We'll stay right here as we got into the break a little bit late anyway after that snazzy play from Pokerock to McGuire. McGuire showing some frustration as he walks back about the home run, I would assume. Don't really think we can say McGuire was late in the coverage. Give Ross a lot of credit for hauling it down the first base line. You talk about hard 90s. That was one of them right there from Sam Ross. Due up for Lynchburg, Munitz, Flora, and the 7 slot in the batting order was first occupied by Connor Moore. We had a Wes Stubby pinch hit appearance. He walked. So officially Stubby's still in there. I wonder if we could see maybe a left-handed pinch hitting option for Lynchburg with the righty Jake Ludwig on the mound. If you remember, Brian McDermott was the southpaw for York. That was part of the reason why Stubby pinch hit for Connor Moore. Coach Travis Beasley didn't want to go with a left-on-left batting matchup. Stubby a righty. I think you could see a lefty pinch hitting option here coming up 3rd in this inning. Some of those options for Lynchburg from the left side would include Ryder Warren, who homered yesterday. Also, we got to throw Parker Cato in that mix as a left-handed hitter. Ty Howlett, another lefty. for a potential pinch hit opportunity. There's more than that, but those are the first three that come to my mind. Here's a lefty swinger in Joe Munitz. Munitz is 0 for 3. He's flown out to center twice, grounded out to the second baseman once. Yesterday, Jolton Joe did not have a hit, but he was on board 3 times with 3 base on balls. Correction. Yeah, Joe had 3 base on balls. Gabe Pagaze did pinch hit for Joe Munitz and ended up striking out, but Joe officially 0 for 1 yesterday. 0 for 3 today. Wind up from Ludwig and misses way wide on the first offering to Joe Munitz. Friday, Joe Munitz was 1 for 4. So statistically against York, he's 1 for 8 right now, but the on-base percentage doesn't look bad with those walks. Here's a good fastball just above the knee from Ludwig. Comes back to make it up, make it an even count at 1-1. So much importance placed on the first pitch strike. There's also a lot of math that says if you come back and get 2 of the first 3 pitches in the at-bat as a strike, that's equally or maybe more important than just going ahead 0-1. Now it's the other way around. 2 balls in the first 3 pitches, 2-1 here to Joe Munitz. Sometimes counts are overrated. I think for those great hitters they so often are. Didn't Tony Gwynn notably had like a 330 average with 2 strikes or something like that, so didn't phase him very much, but probably unfair to compare anybody to Tony Gwynn, but especially a collegiate hitter. 2-2 now. This one's upstairs, and now the count has run full for Joe Munitz. Career .348 hitter. He was ODAC Player of the Week twice last year. Joe's a guy that can really get hot. It'll be another walk for Joe Munitz. Good plate discipline there. That one was close from Ludwig. Not a bad pitch at all from Ludwig. Tip your cap to Munitz, or maybe from an offensive perspective, tip that helmet for Joe because he laid off right there. Here's Kyle Flora. Flora's 0 for 3. He's been on once with that error. Allowed him to get into scoring position. Lynchburg is stranded 7, 4 of those in scoring position. Just 5 left on base for York. They've made the most of it again. In the bottom of the 8th inning, York went ahead with a solo home run from Ethan Hotchkiss. Off-speed pitch from Ludwig. 0-2 count now to Kyle Flora. York scored 1 with 4 hits in the 7th. In some ways, Lynchburg was lucky to escape the 7th, only allowing 1 run on those 4 hits. 7th inning is the only inning that York has left multiple players stranded. They left the bases loaded there. Here's the 0-2 to Flora. Rung him up on a steep breaking ball that started at his front shoulder and caught enough of the plate to be called strike 3. First strikeout looking today for Lynchburg. And our pinch hitter will be Ryder Warren. Sean Pokerock is on deck in the 8th hole where Gavin Angelillo started. Ryder Warren, 1 for 1 this season. It was 1 pitch and 1 home run yesterday for Ryder Warren. I think a big key for Ryder Warren, this will have been mentioned by the teammates and the coaches, is don't try to do too much. Don't try to hit another home run right here. Just see it, identify ball or strike, and put a good swing on it if you decide to turn it loose. There's one that's just slightly north of the zone for Jake Ludwig. Stay within yourself is a good phrase that you hear. Home runs are within Ryder Warren, but you can't force it. You have to let it happen. It has to be the right pitch. Really try to knock it over the fence. Check swing there from Warren. Ludwig's got a good breaking ball, folks. I can tell you that. You've seen some check swings and some awkward takes from Lynchburg's hitting. That's how you can tell. Jake Ludwig's got some good stuff on the mound there for York. Big guy, too, 6'5", 235. Painting the inner third with a heater. Good mix from Jake Ludwig. He's tossing that breaking ball in all counts, and he's coming back with a fastball that is challenging. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out, 1 on. Ryder Warren swinging a miss. Ludwig got him with something down and away, and there's 2 outs now. Back-to-back punch-outs for Jake Ludwig. Here's Sean Pokerock for Lynchburg. That's strikeout number 5 they have taken offensively. Pokey's been the man lately, hasn't he? Walk-off game winner on Friday. 3rd game-ending at bat he has had this season. Yesterday, it was an RBI walk with the bases loaded. Took another walk, 0 for 2 officially. Friday, Pokey was 2 for 4. On the season, for Sean Pokerock. Oh, this ball's blistered in the left center gap. Let's see if the left fielder can get there. He cannot. Sean Pokerock has done it again. Jolton Joe Munitz is going to run all the way home from first base. And just like that, we are tied again. So reminiscent of Friday, except this time it's happening in the 8th inning. Sean Pokerock, stand-up double. What a season so far for Sean Pokerock. What a career for Sean Pokerock. That's career RBI number 86 for the senior. And he is the potential go-ahead winning run in scoring position. Here's another change for Lynchburg. Another pinch hitter for the Hornets. Kyle Moshier, the 3rd baseman, will come out. Mason Bull, first-year left-handed hitter from Arlington, is in. So now Travis Beasley, he said, with this lineup, you don't have to do a lot of pinch hitting. It has been plug and play in this game for Coach Beasley, and so far he's made some right decisions. Sean Pokerock made the right decision on that dirt ball, advancing to 3rd on one that kicked away from Matthew Wade. 1-0 start for Mason Bull. Mason Bull, by the way, has played in 2. 1 start, no hits yet in the college campaign. 0 for 4 officially for Mason Bull. Bull yanks this down the line, but foul in between the bag and first base coach Matt Balance. 1-1 for Mason Bull. Top of the order up next for Lynchburg, Brandon Garcia. Bull went to Wakefield High School. Swing and a miss there on a ball down. This is a 3-pitch mix from Jake Ludwig. We can tell that now. He's got the hard fastball, a sharp breaking ball, and he's got a change up of some kind that he's throwing in all counts. 1-2 now on Mason Bull. See if Bull can stay alive. Yeah, he will. Yanks another one foul towards Wakefield House. And we'll try it again at 1-2. 1-2-3 due up for York. Something you can live with as a coach. Having the top of your order on there in the top of the 9th inning. 4-4 ball game. Another 1-2 to Bull. Down. That was that changeup there. Felt like a changeup rather than a curveball that time from Ludwig, at least from our perspective. Good hold by Mason Bull. Evens it up. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 4-4 ball game. Yeah, these are the moments right here. These late innings have been very intriguing. High drama for York and Lynchburg. Swing and a miss. Ludwig got his man. He gives up the lead, but the game stays tied. York 4, Lynchburg 4, heading to the 9th in the Hill City. High drama. Maddox Tsutsui is on to play third base for Lynchburg. That'll be the 9 spot in the order. Kyle Moshier started. Pretty good game for Mosh, 1 for 2. RBI double, scored, also a walk. Mason Bull pinch hit in the last frame and struck out, one of 6 K victims for Lynchburg offensively today. And now it's Maddox Tsutsui, the junior, in playing third. Colin McGuire still pitching, top of the 9th. Tie ball game. It's York 4, Lynchburg 4. Kyle Haney enjoying this spirited ride with you. We thought it might be close. Last year, Lynchburg swept the series 3-0. One blowout last year, but 2 close games. And we keep referencing 2024. Really, all 3 games were close, and York won the series 2-1. McGuire will catch the lower and outer edge of the zone, and it's a 1-1 count to Lucas Prendergast. He's been impressive. 2 hits today, 2 hits Friday. Blanked yesterday. Oh, that ball off the tips of Brandon Garcia's leather. He actually got de-gloved. He'll scamper over to pick it up and toss it into Ben Jones. Just a single. How about a 3-hit day now for Lucas Prendergast? This is part of a 12-hit attack for York today. A dozen hits, only 1 extra base hit. It was the big fly from Ethan Hotchkiss that tied it up in the 8th. York got 2 in the 4th. They actually went ahead 2-1. Lynchburg retook the lead with 2 in the 5th. It was 3-2 at that point. York ties with 1 in the 7th, and now 1 in the 8th to put York up. Lynchburg responds with 1 in the bottom of the 8th. It's a 4-4 ball game. So York, 2 runs in the 4th, 1 each in the 7th and 8th. Lynchburg, it was 1 in the 3rd, 2 in the 5th, 1 in the 8th inning. Pickoff attempt here by Sean Pokerock. And, hey, let's throw that spotlight back on Sean Pokerock. How about double number 5 of the season? He's been a doubles machine. That's RBI 10 of the year for Pokey. RBI number 86 of the career. Bunt here by Joe Urban. Not a bad one. Tsutsui on, throws. Couldn't complete it at first. Sean Pokerock came off the bag trying to catch that ball. He caught the ball. That'll go down as a base hit. Fantastic bunt there for Joe Urban. Back to those 2-way concept bunts. And Sean Pokerock, he sprinted down the third base line to cover third. So Lynchburg didn't have what happened to York earlier, where the runner could go first to third. Instead, it's runners on first and second. This is a pinch hitter for York. They're going to take the DH Richard Klein out. They're going to put Jackson Ford in. This is a sacrifice bunt scenario. I can tell you right now, Jackson Ford is in to put down a sac bunt. That's the only reason why you would take out your 3-hole DH. I know Richard Klein not off to a great start this year with just 3 hits through the first 4 games, but I mean, that's the move right here. Watch for Jackson Ford. He's a junior from Centerville, Virginia. That's it right there. No hiding it. This one will spin off the end of the bat and go foul. Sean Pokerock, career double number 25 there, by the way. 97 hits for Pokey. He's approaching 100. Love to see him do that at home, but have a feeling like he might get it Tuesday or Wednesday. Who knows? We might be playing extra innings today. Pokey might get some more at-bats. Pokerock out to field the bunt, circles it, throws to first, safe there. Ben Jones can't believe it. Nobody from Lynchburg can believe it. Great hustle from the pinch hitter. Number 4, Jackson Ford. Yeah, he was moving like a Ford race car there. That'll be 3 consecutive singles for York. 2 of them did not leave the infield. Bases are going to be loaded. Travis Beasley's going to have a chat with our first base umpire about it, but I have a feeling he's not going to get this one overturned. Quite rare for a coach to just get a plain out safe call overturned. And I think Beasley knows that, but feels like, hey, I've got to express my displeasure. At least put that in his head a little bit. So the bases are loaded. The drama continues in the top of the 9th. Lynchburg, home team, they will be able to respond in the bottom of the 9th. Tie ball game right now. Infield's coming in for Lynchburg. Spartans everywhere. McGuire, first pitch, nails it on the outer third for strike one. This game has had seemingly some of everything, and it's another one that is going to come down to the finish line. They're still neck and neck on Fox. This one pulled, foul. Yeah, right call there. Well, that would have scored a couple, maybe all three. Hitter's Matthew Wade. Wade was 0 for 2 against the starter Nick Matfield. Wade struck out against Colin McGuire in McGuire's first inning of work. That was back in the 7th. McGuire pitching into the 9th now. He can be a long reliever. He's not a one-inning closer. He can take the game for long chunks, and he's got several starts in his career, and he's got a big bender there that fooled Matthew Wade. Another strikeout for Bobby Bullpen. He struck out Matthew Wade both times he's faced him. That's actually his only 2 K victims in the ballgame. Here comes Alex Neild. Neild has power. 3 jacks this season. 1 off of Colin McGuire on Friday. 9 dingers last year. And the bases are still loaded. Lynchburg will move the middle back. Corners stay up or even with their respective bags. 1 ball, no strike start to Alex Neild. Neild is 0 for 3 today. Grounded out to the third baseman against McGuire. Lynchburg's in that classic baseball situation. On a ground ball, 1 is a must, 2 is a plus. You've got to get at least an out here if you're Lynchburg. Even if you yield that go-ahead run, got to get something here. 2-0 to Neild. The pitch from McGuire. Sprayed into right field. Flora is there. This is probably going to be deep enough to score the runner. Flora's going to uncork and throw to home. Pokerock faked a cut. They will not get Lucas Prendergast, and York goes up again. It's Neild with another go-ahead RBI, a sacrifice fly to right field. Runners at the corners now. First and third. Watch for a potential running game manufacturer run situation here for York, especially if Jacob Deimling gets 2 strikes on him. You could see that runner from first potentially take off early. Have to know how you're going to defend that if you're Lynchburg. 2 down now in the top of the 9th. First pitch, swung on. Long run for Quinn Madden. Madden's going to get there, and the inning is over, but York has gone ahead again. What a ball game. What a series. We had the blowout yesterday. Friday and Sunday have really provided some exciting stuff, and it's all going to come down to this again. We'll stay right here on our Flo College broadcast. Lynchburg going for their 26th win in a row on Fox Field. They're trying to extend a season-winning streak that's 5 right now, and Lynchburg is looking for win number 7 on the campaign. York winless so far in 2026, not for lack of effort, not for lack of talent. They've put themselves in position to potentially win their first ball game of the year. Officially in the 9th inning, it was 1 run on 3 hits. York will leave 2 stranded, including 1 in scoring position. York's steady, consistent attack has featured 13 singles and 1 home run. So all told, it's 5 runs on 14 hits for York. They have committed 3 errors, and the Spartans have left 7 on base, with 4 of those being in scoring position. Lynchburg right now has 4 runs on just 5 hits. 3 base knocks in the 5th inning, 1 apiece in 7 and 8. Sean Pokerock had a double that tied our ball game in the bottom of the 7th. He scored Joe Munitz. Munitz took a leadoff walk. Back to those leadoff walks being killers. If Lynchburg wants to storm back and walk it off again, beat the buzzer again, it'll start with Brandon Garcia. Hollywood is 2 for 3. He's been on board 3 times with 2 singles, 2 bunt singles, and 1 walk. Brandon Garcia grounded out to the second baseman in his only unsuccessful at-bat. Jake Ludwig still pitching. Lynchburg's offense will be learning more about him just like we are. He's got a breaking ball, a good changeup, and a hard fastball, and seems to be unpredictable with the usage. He'll throw all those in any count. There was a heater right down Main Street to even it up at 1 ball and 1 strike. Garcia, Jones, Jack Pokerock, and Quinn Madden all potentially due up. 1, 2, 3. Top of the order for Lynchburg. We said York would feel good about having the top of their order up in the top of the 9th. Lynchburg should feel good about having the same in the bottom of the frame. Hornets had a great ring ceremony, getting some hardware from last year's exploits. 41-9 last year. Garcia, chopper up the middle, that's through. Brandon Garcia's third hit of the day is a single over the second base bag, and Lynchburg has the tying run on in the bottom of the 9th. Ben Jones came into the ball game hitting .310. He's been on once with a walk today. Popped up to the third baseman, grounded out to the first baseman, and Ben Jones has struck out. Jack Pokerock on deck. Third baseman's in on the grass, defending against a potential sacrifice bunt. And I think with Ben Jones, it would be another one of those two-way bunts. He'd try to bunt for a base hit. He'll take strike one. Both corners crashing for York. Their bunt coverage had the second baseman sliding over to cover first. I mean, that's good baseball right here. I think the numbers say get the tying run in scoring position so you have 2 shots to drive him in. Get him there with 1 out. Ben Jones' hitting profile says probably let him swing away. But he is a very capable bunter. He can do everything. He's a complete player. Jones will square to bunt again. This time it's high. Corners crashing again from York. If you're the Spartans, you have to learn your lesson from earlier in the game when Lynchburg bunted. Make sure somebody goes to cover third. If the third baseman vacates and makes the play on the bunt, then the catcher or the pitcher has got to sprint over there to the hot corner to get it covered. York did not do that earlier. It allowed Kyle Moshier to go first to third on Brandon Garcia's bunt single earlier in the ballgame. 1-1 coming to Ben Jones. He got the bunt out early that time. You don't really see Lynchburg slash very much, which is where you show the bunt and pull it back and hit. It was kind of in vogue in college baseball for a while. Jones will get this one down, right side. That's a good one. Spartans had to hustle. They will get him at first. They'll throw behind and try to trap Brandon Garcia wandering off. Ben Jones with a successful sac bunt. 3-4 there as the first baseman, Ethan Hotchkiss, picked it up and threw it to Prendergast, who was covering. Here's Jack Pokerock. 0 for 4 today. That follows up a 2 for 3 day yesterday with 2 two-run home runs. A 2-run home run here would win the ball game for Lynchburg. Did Pokey do it right here? Jack got a good piece of this. Down to deep left field. This ball's going to be caught. Brandon Garcia thought it was a home run. He was wandering in between second and third. It was a well-hit ball from Jack Pokerock that powered out about 10 feet short of the outfield fence. Sam Ross with a really fine catch there to run it down. Lynchburg down to their final out. It was a ball that Brandon Garcia could have potentially tagged up on and gone to third. And then he would have been 90 feet away. Now, the other side to that is a lot of times with 1 out, you're told to go halfway or as far as you can when you're on second base anyway. So Brandon Garcia might have been doing the right thing. Quinn Madden's going to swing on the first pitch and bang it foul. Madden is 0 for 4. And he's been up in some big spots with 2 outs already in this ball game. Lynchburg has left 8 on as a team now. 5 of those in scoring position. Let's see if Quinn Madden can clutch up right here. Good location from Jake Ludwig. Ludwig trying to slam the door and get what would be a win for him. 1 run in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. 1 in each frame for York. They lead 5-4, 0-2 count. 2 outs. The pitch from Ludwig. Down and away, good hold from Quinn Madden. Great speed at second with Brandon Garcia. Base hit, he's going to try to score. Crowd comes alive, both dugouts. Full volume here. The 1-2 on the way from Ludwig. Sweeper that Madden somehow got a piece of that 33-inch metal bat on. What a ball game. Love it when it comes down to the end. It feels like one of those fate of the known universe situations right here. And for a baseball fan, you watch so many games that don't come down to the final pitch. We've had 2 this weekend that have. Oh, that one looked like it got the jersey from Quinn Madden. He's going to head down to first. Oh, umpire's going to call him back. Now we've got another potential the game knows / ball don't lie situations to talk about maybe. But let's see how this one is settled, because our home plate umpire is going to get his colleagues involved and see if they had a view. Did that ball hit Quinn Madden or not? Joe Munitz is on deck, by the way. Munitz is 0 for 3. Middle of the order today for Lynchburg has been very, very quiet. And the Hornets, as a team, they've only got 6 hits. Double checking the number for you folks. Yeah, that looks right. 6 hits. Brandon Garcia has three of them, by the way. They have changed this call. They'll call that a hit by pitch. So Lynchburg, they don't gain an extra out. They're still down to their final one, but the Hornets now have the winning run on base. Tying run is at second with Brandon Garcia. Winning run at first with Quinn Madden. The hitter will be the junior, Joe Munitz. Munitz is 0 for 3 today with a walk and a run scored. Munitz scored in the bottom of the 8th inning on Sean Pokerok's double. Think about the pitching, though, from York. They've held Lynchburg to 6 hits, and 2 of those are Brandon Garcia's bunt singles. There are 3 doubles in there. First pitch from Munitz is wide right from the pitcher's perspective. These moments where the umpires have to talk about a call, they can really build the tension. They can build the pressure for a pitcher. Jake Ludwig is the pitcher in question. He's looked great so far. Munitz slashes it to first base. Ludwig's got to get over and cover. No, Hotchkiss will beat Munitz to the bag, and York wins it. The Spartans spring an upset here on Fox Field. 25 in a row at home for Lynchburg. That streak is snapped. 5 in a row in the season snapped. Hornets take loss number 2 this year to go to 6-2 total. Congratulations to York. What a gritty, tough ball club. They win this one 5-4. First victory of the season for the Spartans. They'll go to 1-3. Box score for York is 5 runs on 14 hits. They made 3 errors. They survived 3 errors. York ends up leaving 7 on base. For Lynchburg, it was 4 runs on 6 hits. Hornets made an error, and Lynchburg, stranding 2 there, will end up leaving 9 aboard, and it looks like 6 of those in scoring position. Lynchburg, other than Sean Pokerok's RBI double, Hornets could just never really punch the clock in a pressure situation when they needed to today. And once again, full credit to York College. Looks like Colin McGuire is going to get the loss. Jake Ludwig will get the win for Lynchburg individually. Brandon Garcia, the only one with multi-hits there, a 3-hit day for Brandon Garcia. Sean Pokerok was 1 for 1 with the RBI double. Gavin Angelillo had a double. Kyle Moshier had a double as well. For York, a 3-hit day for Lucas Prendergast. The senior had a really good series with a 2-hit performance on Friday. 3-hit day for Joe Urban for York. And the home run from Ethan Hotchkiss was massive as well. That put York up in the 8th inning. And then it was 3 singles in the 9th inning for York. Alex Neild had the sacrifice fly. It's a loss for Lynchburg, so we'll say no interview today, but a fun series. I think a lot of positives for the Hornets, even though they did not get a result that they want. They'll try again on the road, taking on another team in green. The Greensboro Pride on Tuesday will host Lynchburg. Check out our website for all the details. Great seeing York one more time. Hope we can continue this series. We'll say hello once again to the York fans. Thanks for watching. We appreciate all the baseball fans for tuning in. Big thank you to Joe Brennan and the entire crew up here. Elijah Thomas. Eli Thomas was our outstanding camera op today. He doesn't just grab rebounds and do dunks and those kinds of things. He's a full, well-rounded student athlete. And my name is Kyle Haney. We have enjoyed it as always. Lynchburg falls They're not unbeatable, folks. Lynchburg 6-2. A good weekend series for both teams, though. A lot to like, a lot of edges to sharpen up, and we'll see that going forward. Our next LHSN Flow College broadcast from Fox will be 1 week from yesterday. Washington and Lee comes to town for our first ODAC series, 11 a.m. First pitch on that one Saturday, folks, 11 a.m. It is a doubleheader day next week for us, so we'll get that broadcast cranking up around 10:50 a.m. or so. Some breakfast and baseball on Saturday. We'll have some fun with that. We'll say so long today. Lynchburg wins the series. York takes Game 3, 5-4. Thanks for watching on Flow College.